What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Fish and Grits episode. Welcome to episode 47. I am Ryan Dollar, joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Marco. How are you doing today, sir?
I guess I'm doing beautifully.
I mean, look at that face. Micah, looking a little disgruntled. Looks like you've taken Marco's place from last week.
Tired, man. I'm just tired.
I'm tired.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
I'm motherfucking tired, man. Goddamn tired.
If there's two things that Mike is really good at, we've learned. It's impersonations and predicting things. I'm just going to start listening to Micah, and I'm out of focus. Let's see if I can fix that.
I did miss one thing. I definitely miscalled that game last night.
Oh man,
I definitely miscalled that game last night.
Boy.
The whole nation did.
Good God.
Yeah, you know what? Big shout out to Baylor and Dr. Corso.
And Elgin Baylor. It was so apropos and timely.
All the Baylors. Yeah, man. What y'all been up to? Y'all been doing anything cool, anything special here lately?
Oh, well, we've all done something special as we have begun to timestamp our episode. We've always done this, but now we want to make sure that for all you people who are watching who have a short attention span, now you can just go to your favorite topic in the info button and click the time and go straight there. So if you want to hear some NASCAR talk, you can go ahead and click that stamp. If you want to hear some NBA talk,
000 timestamp for NASCAR.
Yep. What's up with y'all?
Not much.
Working. I've fallen behind in sports. I need to catch up.
What sport did you fall behind on?
A lot of them. I haven't been keep up with all the NFL talk like I normally do. I haven't been keeping up with the NBA really that much at all this past week or so.
Well, I'll fill you in.
Hey, do you know a show I can watch to catch up on?
I'll let you know when it starts.
Hey, Marcos, lean to your... Yeah, there you go, right there. Now you're centered on your thing. So just here recently, to kind of give y'all a little bit of current events, we're not going to do many at all because we got a lot to talk about sports-wise. We got a lot of NFL talk and a lot of NBA talk. Lots of Braves talk now that they're actually playing as well. But
I don't feel like talking about them, though.
Yeah.
Haven't won yet.
So Governor Kemp announced that he's going to start to slowly peel back the COVID restrictions here a little bit in Georgia. I don't know. No, Georgia never really had COVID restrictions. Honestly, Atlanta never did, I should say.
Well, Atlanta did, but what's his name? Kemp put executive order in to basically nullify those. So
yeah, he's like, you thought you thought you were going to put restrictions in.
You're the mayor. Well, I'm the governor.
The U.S. State Department announces that they're going to be boycotting the 2022 Beijing Olympics, or that it's being considered, excuse me, due to the abuse of human rights in China.
Finally.
Nothing new. I mean, they've only been doing it forever. So I guess the 2022 Olympics is where we take that, China. We won't go to your Olympics. And China's like, cool, we'll just win all of the medals then. Thanks.
No one shows. We win them all.
Right. That's literally something they would do. Like, we won the Olympics. It's a record. We won everything.
Did not lose an event. Michael Phelps, you can suck it because we won swimming too.
We got all of them, all the medals. This one.
So who's boycotting it?
The State Department is announcing that it's being seriously considered.
The State Department. So that just
U.S.
means
State Department.
the whole country. Do they decide things like this on what we decide we're going to boycott?
It's the first State Department-led boycott I've ever heard of, but I mean, it's a large entity nonetheless.
The funny thing is, we have this huge problem with their treatment of people but they still somehow managed to pull the Olympics in the first place. So
True that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same reason certain people, like our favorite basketball player, didn't want to speak up against certain things, because they all want to make money with them, but sometimes there's also moral hurdles.
Wait, moral hurdles to address morality problems? We would help you out, but I don't know. I feel kind of weird about it. It's a little icky.
Don't act like that's not a thing, an American thing. That's a capitalistic.
Bureaucracy thing.
Money overrides any morality most of the time for us.
Yeah, especially if we can sweep it under the rug, and like sort of like have, like, say for instance, have our sweat labor done in other countries, so then people don't necessarily contextualize the kind of inequality, for lack of a better term, that goes on a daily basis, and that is necessary for them to live the lives that they want to live. You know what I mean? Just in terms of the products we get and consumer stuff.
Yes, I agree. No argument there. And then also just this last weekend, I believe, there was a cow loose on 285.
Wasn't there a horse 2 weeks before that?
I was about to say, again? Wildlife and 285 are like, no, really 20. 20 in wildlife is where it really gets down.
Bruh. So what was it? Last week it was 4 years from the 285. I mean the fire on 85.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is. The past 4 or 5 years, there have been so many. Because I remember around the fire on 85, that like in that same week, we had a gas main burst on 20. That like it was like an explosion on 20 where like a gas main underneath 20
the guy on the bike.
And then then
Ying!
then 75 a tractor trailer full of foam Braves Tomahawks flipped on 75 and had Braves Tomahawks everywhere. So it was literally in a week. Oh, and then I think a plane.
That was the Braves PR department, by the way.
Then a plane crashed on 285 that like in that same week. It was just like, how did every major interstate in the city of Atlanta all have some natural catastrophe in the same week?
Each highway was like, I will not be outdone.
Resurgence, man. This is the city that came up from the flames.
But the only reason the 85 one stands out is because the explanation for it was so bad. It was just like, yeah, this homeless guy set a couch on fire and then it just lit the whole thing up. Like, really?
Know, right?
Really?
That story
people started looking up like PVC pipe ignition temperatures, and they were like, hold on, what was he setting on fire? Like, it was a couch. It's like, made of what? Thermite?
Right. That's that's still to me one of the sketchier conclusions that's ever been drawn by it's like a homeless.
And when they brought him, he was like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And they're like, shh, yes you did. Shh.
It was you. Don't worry, you won't get in that much trouble.
just follow the sword. Follow the sword for us.
Right.
Literally, Johnny Flame happened down there, and they were like, "Oh shit, not here, Johnny." But yeah, that spot on 285 right there by Perimeter Mall always has some weird. Like, if it's gonna happen on 285, it's happening right there. There's a giant paint spill. There was that lady who ran out into traffic. There was the oil spill there. The money was like 200 yards up from there.
Yeah.
Like the tree that fell into 285 happened right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
in all honesty, 285 is a highway I try my best to stay away from.
God, I hate it. I hate living off of it, honestly.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Like in the morning, I'll map it out every day. And it's like, if I go 285, it says it's 17 minutes. But if I go Peachtree Industrial down, it's 25. And I'm like, I know if I go that way, it's going to be 25. If I hit 285, it might be 45.
Right.
So I'll just avoid
It
it
definitely
altogether.
Google Maps, I feel, be like lying. I don't know who they're getting paid by, but they be lying sometimes about their times to encourage you to go certain routes.
Like sponsored roads that day. They're like, yeah, 285 is fine.
Bruh, that's why I stopped using Google Maps, because half the time if something, I remember I tried to use it one time when I think Trump or Pence came into town and they shut down all of the freeways in that area and Google Maps never accounted for it. So what should have been like a 30 to 40-minute drive to the gym turned out to be like an hour and 45-minute drive to the gym. And it was just like, oh my God.
I know. I was sitting there like, where the hell's Micah? You're like, I'm not moving.
Like I took every back road. Like I drove up by Cumberland. I would like legitimately drove all the way out the way just to try to get to a spot on 285 where it's like, yeah, no, they shut down the entire freeway.
All of it. The entire circle is closed.
Yeah.
I'll end this by saying I got spoiled by the pandemic traffic, and I'm kind of annoyed that traffic is coming back. And I'm like, oh God, like this is not fun anymore.
Pandemic traffic reminded me of Atlanta when we were still in high school.
Yes. Like I make that argument to people all the time, especially Nicole, my wife, for those of y'all that don't know. I'm like, traffic in like 2000, 2004, you could jump on the highway at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you'd be like, yeah, cool. Or like 6 traffic died at night, really. 6:37. And you'd be like, all right, I can get on there and be fine. But now it's like 9 o'clock, you go down into the canyon, traffic. 285 by 75, traffic. Spaghetti Junction, traffic.
You know, it's not, I mean, obviously it's the same difference, but it's not necessarily because there's so many people always driving, but it's because there's always so many people getting in accidents. There's so many people who can't drive. And that, to me, that's usually the crux of terrible traffic. Because
or you got the handful of people that drive in the left-hand lane and then realize half a mile away from their exit, oh, I got to get all the way over to the right.
That's an Atlanta trademark. That's not that's the whole city.
I'm if I know I got to get off, I'm going to start getting over at like the 4 miles to go mark.
Yeah.
I know how Atlanta traffic is, but also I just don't want to miss it. But people who do that, y'all are insane.
Yeah.
Stop that.
As people in the left lane a lot of times drive really slow. So it's like, you don't want to be bobbing and weaving, but at the same time, most of the time, I just think it's because people are high and they're like, "Oh shit, my exit."
Bruh,
go ahead, Micah.
I specifically remember in high school because my senior year I drove a carpool to school. I would leave the house at 7:10, 7:15 every morning, pick up the family that used to ride with us, and I'd be at school by 8 o'clock.
Good luck now.
Every morning. Now, and I went to school up by Perimeter Mall. Get off Peachtree Industrial, whatever, by Perimeter Mall from Stone Mountain all the way to Perimeter Mall in 45 minutes. And that was on a normal day, Monday through Friday, every day. Now it's just like, bruh,
that's like
good
an
luck.
hour 15 at least.
Yeah.
But what you said about getting over late, what I think that is actually, Marco, and this is the reason I refuse to let Nicole use her navigation when we drive, because she uses Waze. And Waze has a wonderful history of going exit in 1/4 mile. And you're like, wait, what?
What?
It
will be silent. It won't say anything. And then I'll be like, get off now, bitch.
Nah, but I think Waze is one of the plus sides of Waze over Google Maps is also one of its worst features, is that it often recalculates and tries to find better routes.
Yeah.
So how many times has it sent you off an exit just to get right back on?
Bruh. Nah, matter of fact, that day that they shut down the freeway, bruh, it told me to get on 285, drive up an exit, make a U-turn, and come back. I was like, for real? Yo, what?
By the time you come back, more traffic will have passed.
Bruh. I'm like, I might as well sit here and just go the right way instead of going the wrong
People
way.
sitting in traffic on that side that you were on, so you go back by like, oh, he must have forgot something.
Like, bruh, what?
All right, let's get out of the current events. Let's get into a little bit of NFL. What you need? Time? Oh, to market. Yeah. You're smart. You're a smart one, Marco.
I try.
Let's get into the grits blitz.
Blue 32, blue 32. Now for the grits blitz.
I like how we all do each other's sound effects. I need to do that. I actually need to get little segments, like little 10-second, 5-second intros for those. That'd be cool. A little animated thing.
Yeah.
Hell, I need to hit the lottery so we can get a soundboard.
Yes.
It's only like $200-$300.
Yeah, but if I hit the lottery, I don't have to worry about spending at $200-$300.
We'll just get a studio.
Yeah.
And get a producer who does it all for us, and we just talk.
Build our own studio. Be like, hey, Foye, you want to come into the studio and talk with us directly?
Right. Hey, man, that's the goal.
We'll get there one day. But welcome to the Grits Blitz. Hey, it's Harvey. Welcome back. Have you burned any jerseys lately?
Harvey Danger.
Harvey Weinberg. By the way, your cousin is over here redacting his comments. I don't know what he said. He said your hair looks nice today, and then something later he retracted his statement.
Oh, what did he say? I remember what it said, but I forget.
All right. Well, speaking of controversial things that they wish they could take back, that was a good one. I didn't even plan that. I didn't even plan that. That was a good one. Dan Orlovsky has yet again stuck his foot in his mouth as he went on one of our favorite people in the world, Pat McAfee's show, and was asked about some of the quarterbacks in the class and gave some praise to those, but was specifically asked about Justin Fields. And what he said kind of rings a little not PC, little racist.
Oh, no.
So but I will say in his defense, slightly, he did say, from people I've talked to. So he didn't attribute this stuff to himself. He was being the conduit, the relay, the messenger.
But usually you're only a conduit for stuff that
you agree with.
Yeah, that you agree.
I'm not going to go on the Pat McAfee show and be like, I've heard that there are lizard people running the government. But I just said, that's what I've heard.
I've heard the earth is a flat place.
There's been people that have said the earth is flat.
Oh, my God.
But I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying what I've heard.
You provocateur, you.
So what he said was, let me read the quote. He said, I have heard that he is a last in guy, first out guy type of quarterback, like not the maniacal work ethic. He could then compare his work ethic to, of all people, Justin Herbert. Because, I guess he's a recent draftee.
Oh, they're saying Justin Herbert was a slacker?
Well, no, they're saying Justin Herbert was like fervently trying to.
Workhorse.
Yeah, he likes to absorb knowledge. Like he's like, give me everything, give it to me now, type of guy. Then he made multiple comments about Justin Fields' work ethic, and it sucks because if that is true, if that's what he has heard, and that is what some people are telling him.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby's like, hey, he's terrible.
That kid didn't even want to run the option plays I was drawing up.
I tried to give him the starting job. He just wasn't here.
I tried.
Coach, he was already at Ohio State. He just wasn't here.
He wasn't here.
He got mad because I made him run the read option. Man, I said he should throw the ball. Man, I know what your legs are for.
Don't you know you're a quarterback? You're supposed to run the ball. So, he made many insinuations that Fields is lazy. And it's kind of crazy for someone like Fields. Granted, he is athletically gifted. But you're not athletically gifted and then go to a high-level place like a Georgia and like Ohio State and be a Heisman candidate without putting in some type of work.
Except for Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, but as you saw, once they caught on to Johnny Manziel, it didn't last long.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, he doesn't. He never struck me as a kid who doesn't work hard because watching the QB1 show, for instance, when he was facing off against Trevor Lawrence head to head, he had all the intangibles. And
that's what I was going to say is
you don't get that good unless you work.
Right. You don't come out the number 2 quarterback in your class. Actually, the number 1 because you leapfrog Trevor Lawrence at the end, by not working hard. You don't go to these camps and not work hard. So go for it.
Here's my big issue with that.
I'm building on to something. And I think you're going to say what I'm going to say.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me finish because I got a little bit more. So, one, it's not Orlovsky's first time that he's done this, but the racial undertones to it that just really speak to the problem that had been in the NFL for so long, and honestly, in America for so long, that one, we'll stick with football here, that black quarterbacks don't work hard. They're just athletic. They woke up, they can run a 4.4, and they rely on that only. It's just one silly. But it's a device used to keep white quarterbacks in the starting positions there. But it lends to the problem that we've seen in sports and the black community, backed by statistics, backed by facts, and has forced black athletes to do things like play through injuries more often because they can't say they're hurt, because they know they have to work so much harder to get these positions, and hide injuries when they are actually hurt from their training staffs and their coaches. So this is like, it's not just like he might have said this, he's just reporting what he said. Like, go for it, Mike. I'll let you go.
Here's my thing. And I because like I said, the criticisms of Lamar, Bill Polian criticized Lamar, and like Lamar has his flaws as a passer, but a lot of his flaws have to do with their predictability too, as well. Like you can criticize the predictability but my thing is, my frustration, and this actually isn't racially motivated, it's some of these scouts, what is their criteria? What are they basing their opinions on? Because I remember Josh Rosen coming out and they were critical of him because they said he was too smart. He asked too many questions. Yeah. And it's like, yo, so what's the difference? Like, if I don't ask a lot, if I don't ask enough questions, then I'm lazy, or but if I ask too many questions, I don't know if we'll be able to keep his interest, because he's a little too intelligent.
Didn't Josh Rosen also get some of that he was a rich kid, so he doesn't want to work as hard stuff too?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And he's he's a tennis player, and it's like, but is that the reason why Josh Rosen didn't work out? No, I think he just ended up in two terrible spots in Arizona, where they had no offensive line, didn't have enough weapons, and they gave up on him after the first year, traded him to Miami. He didn't have a great offense. They were a terrible team, didn't have a great offensive line, didn't have a lot of weapons, and they gave up on him again. And now he's Brady's backup. So, I don't understand this. Some of the this hyper critical nature that some of these scouts have on these draft quarterback prospects. It's like, good God, like what do you look? What constitutes the perfect quarterback? Is that exactly what you're looking? What are you looking for?
Insert Tyrese GIF here.
But it's like, I think that a lot of times, and it's not just but especially with black quarterbacks, when they have exemplary play on the field and they have even like a history of winning or something, where it's like, you can't really knock anything. They always try to go for something that's not necessarily tangible. Like, with Lamar, it was like, he's not smart enough, maybe, or he's not going to be able to pick up the plays because he's and then Baltimore just did the right thing and built their offense around him instead of being like, well, he has to figure out what we're doing. Like, no, you go with the talent. And then also, so with Justin Fields, it's like, okay, he looks good on the field. To me, the real knocks are maybe he's not as accurate as you'd like, but then he's mobile and he's accurate on the move. But they try to go with things like, oh well, his work ethic. Like, where's the tape that shows his work ethic is questionable? Where is that?
Boy,
it's like,
give me a quarterback that runs a 4.4 and can throw the ball 60 yards, 65 yards on a dime on the run, and I'll build my offense around him.
And a dude who literally said, by the time I come to pro day, I'll do a 4.3. That proves he works. How does that not prove he works?
Good point. Thank you,
bruh. But I mean, let's look back at it. Mitchell Trubisky was drafted before Deshaun Watson, a quarterback who went to back-to-back national championships and won against a very, very dominant Bama team.
In a pro-style offense.
Exactly. A guy, and they found everything that they could to criticize Deshaun Watson on. And it's like, bro, this guy wins. It doesn't matter. Like, yes, is he perfect? No. But this guy wins a whole lot more. And somehow Mitchell Trubisky at North Carolina, where they didn't really do anything, managed to move up and up the ranks to become the second overall pick when you had a actual proven winner who went, like I said, in that same draft and got drafted, I think 8 picks after him.
Yeah, somewhere on there. I don't remember exactly the order that those or how far down they went. But yeah, I mean, everybody that was watching college football that year went, wait, Trubisky? Like, and I tried to help our friend Robo feel better. I was like, Trubisky has looked good this season. I don't just know if it's just like, it was just one lucky season. I don't know if it was just that. Like, and don't get me wrong, Trubisky can still be successful in the NFL. I think he just needs to find the right offense.
What? Wait, when did he look good? You mean for like
at North Carolina?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like in the league.
No. At North Carolina,
I mean,
he looked good.
Amazing.
He had,
like 2-3 games.
He had even in the league, he had some flashes.
Okay, my bad. I'm thinking Daniel Jones. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Even in the league, Trubisky has had some games where he's had flashes that it's like, all right, he's got something we can work with, but he's not consistent at all. But it's meanwhile, Deshaun has been consistent, and somehow he fell. And I don't even remember some of the excuses they used against him, but it was just like, why is this guy who wins all the time falling?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was either, but none of them made sense.
Yeah, and it wasn't the same thing as like when Tebow came out. Tebow had the awkward throwing motion and every
skips the ball.
there were legitimate issues with Tebow, but you didn't have those same issues with Deshaun. But they found reasons as to why he shouldn't be the top quarterback drafted.
I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do this in the intro. Shout out to Victoria for subscribing to us here recently. We appreciate that. Victoria Watson, if you're wondering who we're talking about you.
Vicky.
I don't know why it looks like when I look at the lens, it doesn't look like I'm actually looking at it.
Maybe she's related to Deshaun.
That's weird. Very strange.
Yeah.
Victoria is his mom. Deshaun Watson's mom listens to our podcast, by the way, guys.
But she's like, they defended my baby. That's right.
But yeah, it's just like, Orlovsky, you were never good enough to say anything like this. Shut up.
This is the same guy who ran out the back of the end zone.
On an 0-16 team. Who doesn't work well? Who doesn't work hard? You?
If you had worked hard enough, you wouldn't have ran out the back of the end zone.
Right. I mean, percentages say that. I mean, how many quarterbacks are going to get taken? Like probably like 10, maybe. Like
in the draft, yeah, probably somewhere in there.
Percentages say that only 1 or 2 of them is going to be good, and I would not put my money against Justin Fields as being one of the ones that's going to be bad. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I just don't know with him, man. I go back and forth, and I'm like, he's very athletic, but he has been very inconsistent. So,
but he's won everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
on a high level,
like you.
He's not done like Watson winning.
Yeah,
well, that's different.
but I mean, like like I said, I am a diehard Georgia fan, and I always go back. The game that pissed me off the most was that LSU game we played that year. The one
Oh
year he
my
was at
God.
Georgia, and we put him on the field and literally go. We get the ball at our own 20. We get the ball and 3-4 plays, we're down in the red zone. They immediately take him out the game, put From in, and then we stall out. And it was just like, we're moving the ball with Fields in the game. Give him a shot.
Right.
And of course, we wound up losing that game. And it was just like, bruh, this guy, they do not have an answer for Justin Fields. Give him a chance, and you might be able to win this game. You can always go back to From after the game for the next game. But if you truly want to win and potentially have a shot to win to contend for a title, sometimes you have to say, all right, look, this guy is the hot hand right now. I'm gonna roll with him. You're still the starter. And it pissed me off so bad. And then
Kirby Smart is of that contention though, Micah. Are you surprised?
I'm just saying, that pissed me off. Then he goes to Ohio State and goes to 2 playoffs, back-to-back playoffs.
I just know the fact that every time that I've seen him have to put it on the line, he's been able to step. I mean, obviously the championship game, he was overwhelmed. But did he not break his ribs and come in and beat Trevor? Did he not do that? Head to head in the QB1 contest, did he not step up and beat him? I honestly believe if he would have stayed at Georgia and given a fair and opportunity, and he was treated correctly, I don't know if they would have won a title, but they would have been in the picture for sure. No question.
You said he looked overwhelmed in the national championship game. I didn't necessarily see that. I don't
mean he looked overwhelmed. I just mean it was a parallel situation.
Him and Pat Mahomes, him in that national championship game reminded me of Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, exactly. Where it was just like he did everything he could to make plays, and receivers would just hitting him in the face mask. Just say, like, God, bruh, come on, give your man some help. You might have a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost out of it. We're almost out of that, but we still have a little bit of ways to go with getting rid of that stereotype.
That archaic mindset that pocket passers are the way of the future because Tom Brady is still winning.
And I just think there's also this stigma about committing long-term to the black athlete in football. Because that at the end of the day, that's what a quarterback has to be for you. It has to be someone you're willing to ride out with for the next 10, 15 years. And I think there's an issue of doing that with black quarterbacks so far.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't give too much more perspective on that because I just don't think like that. So I don't know. I have no idea why that is. Speaking of other quarterbacks, though, and quarterbacks that played down in the South, I guess that's how we can link this one. Sam Darnold joins the NFC South, baby.
Yes, sir.
The move from Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, and Jameis, or I guess Brady, you could include him. It's gone from Matt Ryan, Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, and Tom Brady now. So it's a little downgrade in some places, but I do. Oh, by the way, the Panthers traded a second this year, and a fourth and a third and a fourth next year, or fourth.
Oh no, it's
a sixth this year,
and
a second and fourth next year. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So they got 3 picks out of them. Not probably the haul that they wanted, but it was still something.
The funny thing was I saw one of the PFF guys, Pro Football Focus guys, posting, see, this is why you take a quarterback early, because even if they don't pan out, they still have good high trade value.
I mean,
I'm like,
yeah. At any other position that was drafted that high and you tried to trade him out for that type of return, you wouldn't get that. Not even close.
But I mean, there's also it's a lot more that goes in with it, though. I mean, a busted quarterback, you can give up a whole haul, and then you just be looking like just a straight idiot.
Oh yeah,
like,
if you trade up for it, yeah, you screw yourself.
I mean,
yeah. But like so, granted, I mean they didn't give up that much for him. It was actually a good deal for Carolina. But if they had thrown a first in there, and then Darnold he looked like David Carr, where he was just like, all right, it was too much damage done, then it'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, but David Carr took like there's like quarterbacks who get hit a lot, and then there's David Carr.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, but Adam Gase has this effect on everybody he's coached except Peyton Manning, and it's just like train wreck. He is, they talk about like quarterback gurus, and they call like Bill O'Brien a quarterback whisperer. He is like Thanos to quarterbacks. It's just like he destroys any quarterback he touches except Peyton Manning.
But I mean, they pretty much said Sam Darnold's numbers were comparable to Geno Smith and Mark Sanchez's numbers so far. So, I mean, I think to what you were saying earlier, I think it is actually a good idea to always draft a quarterback high, because as long as they're on a team that's been bad, there's always another team that will be like, okay, they might do better in another situation, because, despite how much bad tape you put out there, like Sam Darnold has, someone's still going to believe. And they're like Ryan said, I can't think of another position to where a player can literally show you on the field how trash they are and still have such high trade value. It's only quarterback. There's no other.
Maybe pass rusher.
Yeah, but
Vic Beasley, you couldn't have gotten.
No. There is one that's still getting fairly high paid and
Clowney.
Getting Clowney. Jadeveon Clowney has not come close to living up to his hype. Yet he's still
at least
fairly hot commodity.
An elite run defender, like an elite run defender.
He does his job. Like,
yeah, but who gets the defensive end for run defense? I mean,
if you could tell me that, like what they're doing, what the Browns are doing,
I want 17.
You could have Garrett on one side and Clowney on the other. Man, I'd sign up for that all day.
I want $17 million a year to be an elite run defender.
Well, he's not getting 17 anymore.
Well, I'm just saying that's what he wanted. I'm like, for that, I could get a damn D tackle. I could put what's his name, Dontarius Poe at defensive end and just be like, just hold the edge. I'll give you $1 million to just stand there and just guard the edge like.
I'll throw this caveat.
You're underselling what Clowney does on the field.
No.
I'll throw this caveat onto the quarterback thing. As long as they're on their rookie deal. Deal.
Yeah, true. I saw a funny tweet as we get off of Sam Darnold here, but it's Nikki Greenberg. It's Mike Greenberg's daughter. She tweeted, "In my lifetime, my father has decided that Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, and Sam Darnold have been the saviors of his team, and I'm only 20."
Hey, do not badmouth Chad Pennington.
Mark Sanchez got them to what, two division,
two AFC championship games.
Yeah, Rex Ryan's defense got them there, and Rex Ryan's run game got them there.
Hey, Mark Sanchez was the captain of that.
The Sanchez hooking up with Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes.
So we move into a little bit of a series of people saying things that they probably shouldn't say here. Former Bengals cornerback William Jackson III. I don't know. I put the third in quotations because that's definitely his name. The third. Okay. What are there? Two more of you? So he signed with Washington this past week, and he gave some insight into what he thought about the Cincinnati fan base. And he said a lot of them are very crude, which, is not terrible to say about the people, fan base, but it's probably not, you probably just shouldn't say it. It's kind of like when Al Horford made that comment about how the reason he went to Boston was because, he appreciates the fans up there, and he thinks, it's just a great atmosphere. And look, we get it. Atlanta, we're not the best place to play. When we do go to
better
games, we don't.
To say is, I want a winning culture. You don't have to shit on the fans to say that.
Right, exactly. Like, we came out to watch you. We watched you every week. It's not our fault.
Well, that was the end of Joe Johnson.
Oh God.
When he said, "Oh, we don't care about the fans," and it's just like
Josh Smith too. Oh. They all went out on some bullshit.
And Michael Vick.
Michael Vick was shooting birds at fans.
Exactly.
Man, yeah, we've had a lot of players go out kind of sucky that we paid a lot of money to watch.
I mean, I will say when we go to games, it is quite apparent that the energy level from Atlanta fans leaves a lot to be desired. But I think that is directly involved with the fact of how little we won.
Yeah, and we don't really have a culture. Like
right.
you don't go to what you're going to do at a Pittsburgh game. You're going to wave your terrible towel. You're going to be rambunctious. You know what you're going to do in Oakland. You know what you're going to do in Philly. Like all these places that you have these great, like the Chiefs, for instance. They're not like bad fans, but like the culture is to be loud and ruckus. The Bills have a great culture built for their fans.
Even high ass Seattle has a culture.
Right.
At Rams and Chargers, though, it's like half those fans don't even know what to do. It's like, I thought this was a Dodgers game.
I mean, and you see that Atlanta as a city has the ability to do that, because look at Atlanta United. Like, it's clearly possible here. If you have not been to an Atlanta United game, people that are listening, it's something that you have to do. It is the best sporting environment that I've ever been at in Atlanta, barring like a playoff game.
I mean, hell, the Georgia Dome closing, that's the loudest I've ever heard any Atlanta anything.
Right. I mean, hell, but that's a playoff game. That's the NFC Championship game. Like that's a chance to go to the Super Bowl. You should be that way. But like Atlanta United on a regular basis is loud the entire time. And that's why players want to come here and play. But I don't know how is it on the fans to fix that? Is it on the team to fix that? Is it on the player? Like, who fixes that?
I don't think you can, because I think is like the fact that Micah mentioned LA. I think there's a little bit of that, where it's like there's a little bit of that we're too cool to cheer thing. There's a little bit of that, but I think at the same time, it's also about the product that the team puts out. Like, the fans have to buy into getting excited. Like you said, they have to sell. I don't know what marketing genius is going to take, but there has to be a culture of excitement and something that goes along with it, so that it becomes expected. Oh, don't even come to this game unless you're trying to make noise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Plus the same reason we're starting to hate Atlanta traffic is one of the biggest reasons it's so hard to have a fan base here. It's a very transit city, and even as far as like all the people that have moved here, the lack of success hurts us as well. So, the fact that we're consistently, like we and the media always takes shots at us because we've been we failed. We found creative ways to fail so many times. So, it's a lot of things that are working against us as far as trying to build the.
But is it so? Who is it on though? That's what I don't know.
Team. I think if the teams could win, then a lot would change. And the problem, like, cause I remember 2016, I worked downtown. I worked a few blocks away from the Capitol. Bro, when we went to the Super Bowl, like the parade they threw at the Capitol before we went, it was crazy. Like, just the environment was crazy. The city was crazy. When we win, it's like the city shows up and shows out. But considering like we just consistently fail, people don't care. People jump on other bandwagons. So I'm tired of supporting the losers. So I'm a Lakers and what's it called, a fan. I'm gonna support the
I'm a
Cowboys.
Patriots and Lakers fan.
Yeah, I'm Patriots. I'm
Steelers
wherever Tom Brady goes is who I'm supporting. So I mean that's just where we are.
So you're saying it falls on the teams then to win more.
If we win more, we'd have less problems with the fan base. Like I said, people like the whole Falcons season ticket situation is a mess in itself, and people that like they expect people to pay all this money. Like legitimately, you pay. I got an email from them. It's like, all right, I could pay $3,000 for decent seats for the PSLs, but then I got to buy individual game tickets, and they force you to buy preseason game tickets on top of that. So it's like, if I got to spend all this money just to be a fan and go to games, it's like, bro, y'all better do something to earn my money.
Right.
Like do something to make me happy as a consumer.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully it's changed soon here, because it sucks going to games when the Steelers come to town, and anytime the Steelers do something, it's deafening loud in there. You're like, wait,
right?
This is Atlanta. That's
remember that
right.
Miami game we went to? That was embarrassing.
They were everywhere. They were literally everywhere, and that's the Dolphins. Like, that's not.
With freaking who was our guy? Cigarette toting. Who was the starting quarterback for the Dolphins that day? I can't think of his name. Cavallari's dude. What's his?
Who?
Oh, Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler,
yeah, that's right. It was Cutler.
Oh yeah, I still remember it because a Dolphins fan was talking trash to me that day, and I was playing softball and he was pitching. I'm like, I'm about to light this month up just because you've been talking trash. Said, boy, I'm about to take your legs. Said, you better walk me. You better walk me.
Yeah, God, we were like up 21-0 and lost that game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was terrible. We scored like a field goal, right?
Yeah.
Jay Ajayi ran all down our throats.
Over us.
Ram shot.
So moving on to the next person who's put their foot in their mouth there recently. That's a theme today in the NFL. Y'all know Carlton Davis?
Yep.
The cornerback for the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
So he took to Twitter and it wasn't like a little bit, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this. Like, you should not say this at all. So he got on there and used an anti-Asian slur. He said, got to stop letting all the G-word disparaging comment for Asians in Miami.
He used that word? Oh my God.
Yeah, the G-word. I fought Vietnam. I grew up in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, I was
and 70s.
about to say, who is he? Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino?
What the fuck? Like, I feel like most people don't even know that word still.
I mean, well, that's his excuse that he used. He's like, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I didn't know that was a derogatory term.
Bruh.
So one, the word, you could just hear the word. Like when I was a kid and I first heard that, I was like, oh, that's not a good word.
That's not good.
That's not good at all. It's just like there's certain words that carry things. But then you also say you got to stop letting them into Miami. Like you're saying keep a group out of a place and then you use a word that's derogatory. Like,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but so many people are. Well, nah, they're not even. I was about to say the Trump method of, but it's this. I've seen so many. It was a celebrity, a female celebrity, like a sister of a A-list celebrity, and she said something, like she used a racial slur, and
Kylie?
she was like,
"Was it Kylie?"
Possibly. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know that was I didn't know what that was a slur. Like, but you knew what context to use it in, but you didn't know what it meant. Oh right. No. Look, we're not stupid. People aren't stupid. This like no. I didn't mean to offend somebody. I just didn't know. I just used it. I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
Okay.
I used it derogatorily,
perfectly.
but
You used it perfectly.
I use it in the perfect way to degrade someone, but I didn't know what it meant. I just said it. It sounded right, I guess.
just felt right. It rolled off the tongue perfectly.
Just roll it there, right. It felt like it belonged there.
It embodied that emotion that I was feeling. So let's fly through these last couple things before we start talking about the draft and pro day stuff, because all this other stuff is extraneous. Deshaun Watson's accusers are now up to 22. His attorney says that they're probably going to get the name, the first name of someone very soon here. That person also asked for hush money from them. So
they're going to use that as a defense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, how do you fight
bloodthirsty
invisible accusers?
They're going to be like, these are bloodthirsty vampires trying to come for our clients' money.
I mean, if the fact that they don't know the names, there is legitimately no way that Deshaun can truly defend himself and be like, this was I went on a date with this person. It was a miscommunication or anything of that extent. It's just like, well, people are just coming out the woodwork. So,
and
I mean,
that's what is making me believe that this is now just character assassination by by these people, because if you're not gonna put out names, you're not gonna let him know who he's fighting against, who he's doing, and then you're also throwing these things in there that will easily allow the case to be thrown out. You've now completely smeared his name in the public eye. There's going to be people that think Deshaun Watson is a rapist for the rest of his life. Now,
right.
Now, look, if this turns out to be true, if this turns out to be legitimate accusations, I will gladly eat crow right here, and he deserves to be locked up. But there's too many things that are happening right now that make it go, this doesn't sound right. This is too convenient.
But I mean, typically in these kind of situations, I feel like most victims don't just want hush money. They don't just want to settle. A lot of them want to seek justice for being wronged. With R. Kelly, there was a problem there, and there were enough victims where they didn't just say, "Oh, I want hush money." No, they sought justice for how he was doing people. And this is when it's just a whole bunch of accusations and every one of them is just like, well, I'll settle out of court for $50,000.
And to that point, it's usually, and not to say that this person would want people want attention for, but a lot of times when people want to accuse people of things like that, and it's righteous, a lot of times they want to be the face behind that. They want to be like, yes, it's me. I'm the one who's calling you out because you did me wrong. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's not like they want pride or anything, but it's like you said, they want retribution, and they want that person to see them and be like, no, okay. You know what I mean? It's very rare that 22 out of 22 people all want anonymity. And that already, I don't know how many people want settlement so far, but I imagine is a good percent of it.
And I'm sorry, I don't think Deshaun is like El Chapo, where you feel like you have to hide your identity, otherwise he's just going to come and get you. If anything, I would think, you could boldly say, yes, you wronged me. Even when Antonio Brown had the situation with the two situations with the women who accused him of sexual assault. He knew exactly. They didn't hide their identity. Right. They said, you assaulted me, so on and so forth, and they let him deal with it. With this, it's just everybody's coming and no, don't say your name. Don't say no. We're not going to.
They still want him to use them as massage therapists, so they don't want.
I don't want to hurt my business. But
he doesn't know it was me.
He showed me. Call me. He showed me his balls, and I didn't feel comfortable.
And not his footballs. In a more positive light, Anquan Bolden formerly of Florida State, a man who can do it all, quite literally. Played quarterback, played wide receiver, broke people's entire face.
No, he got his face broken.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Eric, what was his name?
Eric Smith.
Eric Smith broke his face, yeah.
And got banned from the NFL for it.
Yeah. Got an entire titanium plate put in his face and then played 2 weeks later?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he barely missed any time. He started a COVID vaccination clinic in his hometown in Florida. So,
but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
he started one. From the ground up. Damn.
He was.
They helped it. He helped. But
he was
a big part.
Consistently one of the front runners for Walter Payton Man of the Year. Consistently, he's always been a humanitarian, and shout out to Anquan Bolden for that.
And considering he was tied to that class with Coles and Warwick and all them at the very beginning, he was supposed to be like a bad character guy. Mm-hmm. So, big shout out to him. That's huge. The Falcons of the North, though, the Bears, started. I guess. Well, they've won a Super Bowl. I can't call them the Falcons of the North. The Bengals are the Falcons of the North.
Or the Browns, one of the two.
No, we're not quite as bad as the Browns. The Bengals are more of a fair comparison.
The Bungles.
They really feel like us, though. They'll get.
We're the Bills.
We're the Bills.
Yeah,
we haven't been to enough Super Bowls to be the Bills.
Well, we've been to some, so unlike the Browns, I mean the Bengals have been to 2, right?
Yeah,
we are the Bengals.
Yeah, we're the Bengals. I mean, it's a fair people all the time. Cowherd always made that comparison that Matt Ryan is Andy Dalton that plays in a dome. But speaking of Andy Dalton, he's going to be the Bears starting quarterback this year.
Like I said, he's better than Nick Foles.
Yeah, I agree. I think think back to when Dalton was a full-time starter with all those weapons he had in Cincinnati. He did pretty good. I mean, he threw 34 touchdowns one year and low double-digit interceptions. He's not terrible.
Who was it that was talking about that? They said that that playoff game against the was it the Steelers?
Mm-hmm.
They played, and they said somebody got a stupid penalty. Was it Ocho said he got a stupid penalty? Vontaze Burfict got a stupid penalty that essentially wound up costing them that game because it set the Steelers up to get a go ahead score, and it was just like, bruh.
You're talking about the last playoff game that they played in?
Yeah.
That was the Vontaze Burfict, Antonio Brown, Juju Smith game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when Antonio Brown, it's when Vontaze Burfict changed Antonio Brown's life forever.
Yeah. Right, those 2 touchdowns where he scrambled his brains.
Yeah, just absolutely destroyed Antonio Brown over the middle. And then Juju came back and laid his ass out. And then Antonio Brown was like, I hate Juju.
I know, right? It was his head, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, who's Marco? I know your answer, but do you think that Dalton or Foles is the better starter?
Dalton, obviously. I think Nick Foles served his purpose in history as the guy who, the scrappy guy who took the scrappy team to a Super Bowl and, Big Dick Nick, all that kind of stuff. But if you just look at it from career-wise, complete resume, Andy Dalton's always been a better quarterback than Nick Foles, But yeah. I know for some people it seems like more of a thing just because he is a Super Bowl MVP. But at the end of the day, Nick Foles has had many opportunities to be a starting quarterback and still ended up on the bench. Even he got benched for Mitch Trubisky in the playoffs. So I mean,
that was a little different though.
It was, but it wasn't. At the end of the day, he still got benched for Mitch Trubisky.
What's his back because he hurt his back real bad.
It wasn't. He hurt his back in week 12 or something like that.
Yeah, and he had to get carted off the field. He wasn't moving.
But he was ready. He was ready to play.
But I mean,
I don't remember that too well.
Trubisky was hot down the stretch though. No, I'm not.
He was.
I'm,
He had a great stretch.
Hot for
he got-
Trubisky. I know he did good. He did good.
but now I'm not by no means am I calling Trubisky like a Pro Bowler or
that Saints game was there the whole time, but he's just so bad.
Well, I mean, hold on. Now I cannot knock Trubisky for that though, because you lost. They had like 4 receivers go down for that game. So by the second half of that game, he literally only had Robinson, and that was it. It was like, and Javon Wims dropped a wide open touchdown pass.
Wide open.
And who was the God, I cannot think of the you had Anthony Miller gets kicked out of the game, and then they the young Mooney was balling and showing up for the second half of the season, and he didn't play because of injury. So you're down to Robinson and a bunch of backups, and it was just like, all right, you don't have enough to beat the Saints.
Yeah, I mean they almost did too. That was a good game by him. But so let's cover some of these pro day results of the people that we've been closely linked to, and then talk about some draft news regarding the Falcons and talk about what that means, because there's been a lot of things that came out today and in the past couple of days really regarding our picks. So some of these guys we've talked about before, but we're going to cover the main stays. So Kyle Pitts, the 6'5", 250-pound tight end from Florida, he's 245, so he dropped a little bit of weight. Kyle Pitts ran a 4.4 and had a vertical jump of 33.5.
He put on pounds.
Did he? I thought it was 256.
He played at 240.
Oh, okay. Maybe I saw the wrong source there. But, I mean, even at 240, 245, that type of 40 time and that type of vertical is just highly impressive. I mean, that's like Calvin Johnson numbers, honestly, just at tight end. So, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the problems have been the defense, the problem has been the offensive line, blah, 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 blah. What is drafting a tight end going to do? Is that going to fix it? And it's like, no, you do have 6 other picks in the draft, but are you going to pass on like potentially Calvin Johnson at 4 if you have the opportunity to get him?
I mean, Calvin Johnson, though, I mean, you're saying he's going to be Calvin Johnson?
Bruh, he is. I think they said he's the fastest player at that size at receiver or tight end that like in NFL history.
I mean, yeah, Marco, I don't know if I'm saying he's going to be Calvin Johnson, but I can say with almost certainty that he's going to be elite in the NFL.
I mean, I know that. I still am not of the opinion that Matt Ryan needs any more weapons to throw at.
Matt Ryan does better when he has really good tight ends, though.
I don't care, man. Matt Ryan needs to consider not throwing the ball so much, and getting him more targets like Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts is just going to encourage more of that.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Jamar Chase, because he's the next guy on our list, measuring in at 6'3", 201 pounds, and ran a 4.3 4.40.
Cinci should get him.
And 41-inch vertical. I did not know Jamar Chase was that fast. Like, I knew he was quick and like he had some decent long speed. I didn't know he was 4.34 fast.
That's crazy.
That's
hella impressive, because he's an excellent
with the size,
right?
With some size,
right? I mean, you're talking about
he's taller than I thought, though.
Yeah, I didn't think he was 6'3".
I thought he was like 6 foot 6'1", but 6'3". Yeah, that means he's in that Julio realm. Or right. Well, even though I thought he'd be a little bit heavier, though. I thought he'd be 215 or so, but
what is he? 190?
201.
201. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're that tall with that type of speed, it'd be tough unless you're
He'll put on weight.
Well, no, it's just his game reminded me so much of Julio's.
Right. He does use his body well.
That I figured he would be a little bit bigger. Like I think like 215, 220 versus 201.
Yeah. The guy that we were just talking about, Justin Fields, came in at 6'2.5", 227 pounds.
Dang.
4.44 40.
That's a stud.
Yeah,
Fo.
That's
Moving
a big quarterback.
227 at 4.4. Come
Right.
on.
Like you're not lazy and get that type of body and that type of speed. You're just not. The guy I absolutely do not want in this draft, Micah Parsons, came in at 6'3", 246, and ran a 4.39 40, running wide receiver speed at 250 pounds.
I still question that.
His actual 40 time?
Yeah. Because like I said, like damn near the entire Penn State team ran under 4.4. And I'm just like, how?
Right.
Like
you didn't look like Oregon out there.
Yeah. Like every single player, the defensive lineman, I think they had a D tackle who ran like a 4.5. It was just like, when did y'all start clocking? Were they 3 steps in when y'all started clocking? Come on, man. Granted, Micah Parsons is a athletic freak, but I just question it because when I said you had a defensive end who ran almost the identical time as it's just like, all right, I don't know. It's a little faster than I don't know if he'll play that fast.
Yeah. I mean, Parsons, I don't know. I'm not sold on him. But
Yeah.
another guy that I wouldn't mind us getting, Patrick Surtain, came in at 6'2", 208. He ran a 4.4 and had a 49-inch vertical. We had talked about that, where he ranks in all his measurables, pretty much the 95th percentile and up. Or no, I'm sorry, the 88th percentile and up and everything. But majority of it is like 95th percentile and up. Mm-hmm. Guy's just a stud, especially when you see the way he plays with it as well. It's just, man. The guy that a lot of people are saying is kind of falling in stock here recently for no other reason than just over-scouting and overthinking. Penei Sewell weighed in at 331 pounds at 6'5" and ran a 5.09 40. Had a 28-inch vertical with 30 reps on at 225. You know, he's not a beast at that weight, but remember, he is still only 19 years old.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. And if somebody posted in one of the Falcons groups today on Facebook, and they said, you know, fans, if we could get Penei Sewell, and there'll be fans upset. It's so sad. And it's like, all right, look, for one, Penei Sewell is a very good prospect, but he's grading out high, but there are a lot of busts at offensive line because it's hard to develop offensive linemen in today's NFL because the college schemes are very conducive. They're very spread based, and there aren't as many bodies in the box. So typically it's easier to tell who's blitzing and where pressure is coming from in college.
Yeah.
Then you get to the pros, and you're not allowed to have contact, which makes it harder for you to learn those the technical things like how to attack speed rushers, how to attack power rushers, footwork and stuff like that. There are plenty of fine-tuning things that are hard to learn with today's NFL. So you can easily have a bust at offensive line, but despite the fact he graded high in college, but technically the one I want, we might be able to get in the second round. And so, Penei Sewell is a good prospect, but I feel like my guy, Tevin Jenkins, might be a much better product, and you can get him later. And he also has the physical attributes to move to guard, which is more of a problem position as opposed to tackle.
I think he's actually going to go. Yeah.
Where's he from?
He went to Oklahoma State.
Okay. He is a monster. When Micah showed me him, I was like, ooh.
Like you talk about pass blocking and just watching somebody throw people in pass sets.
Yeah, man.
You know who he reminds me of? It's Harvey Dahl.
Yeah.
Okay. Unless this fool is Orlando Pace. Like, I'm not trying to take any kind of Orlando, any type of lineman in the top.
Watch his tape, man. He could
No, I mean, I'm
easily
talking
be
about
the
Sewell.
best lineman.
Sewell.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
Sewell.
yeah. But like Tevin Jenkins, bruh, I've never seen a lineman pancake people in pass protection as often as him. Like he legitimately sets deep pass rushers up so he can knock their hands and knock them off balance just so he can pancake them. And
I think that his pro day was just recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he ran a 4.9.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see. No, I don't want that. I don't. Oh, the Colts are eyeing him. Stay away, Indianapolis. You don't need another good offensive lineman. Actually, they do need a right tackle. And God, could you imagine putting that guy on that Colts O line?
Bruh, you never get to Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz is like, man, I'm glad I acted like I was terrible.
Oh man,
Where's his pro day stuff? Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, if y'all haven't watched his tape, for those of y'all tuning in, watch it. That man's impressive. Let's see. What are we wrapping up here with?
Actually, Brett Coleman did a breakdown.
I know, and I saw it, and I was like, no, Brett, no, stop it. Don't let people know about him.
Shh.
Keep him quiet. So Bryce asked us a question. Does Pitt's pro day make him a bigger target for us? Like, does it make more sense to get him? Would you be okay with it? I don't know. Bigger target. He's already 6'5".
I think he means he.
I know what he meant. I'm pulling his chain.
We said this a while ago though. I mean, I said I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be mad at Pitts just because he's, he provides a weapon that we need. Now, granted, Matt doesn't throw the fade well,
right?
But I think up the middle of the field, if you got a guy you can just throw it at the upright and he can go get it, yeah, it doesn't hurt you.
If you think about it, like, it's really sad that one of Atlanta's best end zone targets ever and most consistent was Brian Finneran.
Mm-hmm.
Benny.
With Michael Vick as his quarterback.
Right.
With them hard left-handed throws. But I don't know. What do y'all think? So I'm wondering. So, yeah, the Falcons finally said today that they're interested in trading back. But I'm wondering if they really were, why didn't they take San Francisco's pick? Why didn't they take the deal with them?
Well, I think they were considering it, but I think the Jets making that move to trade Sam Darnold and them locking up basically we need a quarterback. I think it really is like, yeah, we need to look at trading back now.
I almost wonder. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that when San Francisco did that, and now especially that the Jets traded Darnold away, confirming that they're getting a quarterback at 2,
mm-hmm.
It has given so much extra value to 4 now
mm-hmm.
that teams who were like, okay, maybe one of these guys will fall because we're not sure if the Jets are going to get a quarterback. We don't know what the Falcons are going to do. There's no like 3. Miami doesn't need a quarterback. There was like a lot of like question marks in there, but now 1, 2, and 3 are locked up as quarterbacks. So teams that are like, man, we really need a quarterback now think we have to go to 4.
I just almost wonder that with us not moving, if we're actually probably drafting Justin Fields.
Well, that's actually part of what came out today. Was there is a rift, not a rift, but there's just a 2 groups of thought in the Atlanta front office right now, and one is Arthur Smith saying we can run this offense with Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan has years left in him, quite a few good years left in him. And then there's Fontenot. Now, whether this is true or all just like
conjecture,
conjecture, or the Falcons front office playing the game. Fontenot apparently wants a quarterback. But I don't know why all of a sudden a team and a front office that has been absolutely silent about what they're going to do and not showing their hand whatsoever would all of a sudden say, oh, man, I really want a quarterback, but him not so much, unless you're trying to drive up the market for that pick.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me as to, you don't say anything. And then all of a sudden the first 3 picks get locked up at quarterback. And then you're like, well, we kind of want a quarterback too.
But I mean, I get it though. Of course, y'all know I'm more in the Fontenot camp. I think a lot of fans and I think Arthur Smith have this, they see the success Brady and Breeze have had, the sustained success, and they feel like, oh, Matt Ryan can do it too. But I also think he's a different quarterback than both of them. So I think we need to look towards the future, especially with as strong as this quarterback class is. I think we need to look towards the future earlier rather than later. And even if, like I said, you got Matt for at least one more season. So
technically 2, right?
Technically for 3.
Technically for 3, but you definitely have to keep him this year because his dead cap hit is going to be way too high to try to move him or release him. So, just use that as if you get a quarterback, whether it's Trey Lance or one of these top guys, then you can groom him. You still have time to groom him under a former MVP, Pro Bowl quarterback, multiple Pro Bowl quarterback in a West Coast scheme. So,
all right, let's end this segment with this. I'm going to pose a question to you guys, and I'm going to pose a question to everyone listening and people who listen or like live streaming right now. Say the Falcons do get a quarterback at 4. We're definitely not getting Trevor Lawrence. We're more than likely not getting Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. Maybe Justin
going 3, baby.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Micah has been on top of this for a while here by saying that Mac Jones is more than likely going at 3 to the 49ers because he knows the offense. He's actually a really good player. I don't buy this whole Mac Jones is only good because of the offense that he was in theory, but
I don't necessarily buy it, but I think that there's something to. I think it's a fair.
Did it help? Yeah.
Not only did it help, but it was immensely pivotal in the season he had.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you there. How many quarterbacks have had the same type of talent at Alabama that he has had and still not done that with it? They've always been lacking at quarterback.
I don't know. That was a very talented team. That was a historically talented team.
I think that was the most talented receiver core Alabama has ever had by far. Because even when they had Julio, who else was on those teams? The 2010.
What is his name? Amari Cooper. What year was he? He was 2008.
No.
Later.
Amari Cooper was 13. Well, no. Yeah. Amari Cooper was like 2014 or something like that. Because I think his last year there was when they beat Georgia in the national championship.
They've had those Amari Cooper teams were loaded as well, man.
Yeah, but they didn't have, bruh. Like, matter of fact, the past 2 years, Mac Jones has pretty much been the starter at Alabama for the past 2 years because Tua missed most of that last season.
And he definitely had a more talented team than Tua had when he won the championship.
He's had Jerry Jeudy. He's thrown to Waddle. He's thrown to Devontae Smith. And, they've been loaded, bro. I mean, you got, Henry Ruggs. He's had like 5 potential first round.
Henry Ruggs is only fast, man. Henry Ruggs is not that good.
But at college, he was still. And then what's his name? I can never, Metter or whatever his name is. I can never remember the receiver's name. But like, bro, you have like 5 potential first round draft picks all at Alabama at the same time. And So it's just like, bruh.
Go
Let's
ahead.
see.
It's interesting to me because it's almost like he's like a Tom Brady kind of player, but Tom Brady was like the last pick of the draft.
I think people have realized, wait, we made a mistake. All right, so let's get back to the question. So at 4, say, we do go quarterback. And let's just say Mac Jones doesn't go 3. Or if he does, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. If we wind up with someone as a project quarterback like Trey Lance, would you be okay with it?
At what pick?
At 4.
The hell? Hell no.
Justin Fields, yes, but not Trey Lance.
Only Justin Fields. Anybody but Justin Fields would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
All right, so Justin Fields is the only one you would accept outside of that.
If we go quarterback at 4,
do you think Matt Ryan can fix Justin Fields' discrepancies in 1 year or 1 or 2 years?
Well, I mean, I think he can learn. I think he can learn professionalism and he can learn a lot from Matt Ryan. But I mean, he also has a skill set that Matt Ryan doesn't exactly have.
Exactly.
So I think you combine, like it was. And I make this comparison for somebody, and he you don't know what you're talking about. This is a different situation. But I said with Pat Mahomes and Alex Smith, I said Alex Smith wasn't what. Now, granted, Matt Ryan is much better than Alex Smith is as a quarterback. But I said, the professionalism and the minor details that Pat Mahomes learned from Alex Smith, paired with his skill set, put him in a position to elevate his game to a level that we haven't really seen at the quarterback position yet. So if Matt Ryan can teach teach Justin Fields professionalism plus some of the small details like reading defenses and stuff like that and what you're looking for, then Fields' skill set plus that could be something incredible.
I agree with that. And I think also we might be assuming that Fields has all this stuff to learn, but maybe
he's lazy, Marco. You heard Dan Orlovsky.
Maybe the learning curve is not as steep as we think. And I think just by osmosis, 2 years standing next to Matt Ryan will make him better because Matt Ryan is a consummate professional and he's really good at football. You know what I mean?
Right. You don't win an MVP by accident.
I think we also forget how freaking good Matt Ryan is, but I think that, yeah, I mean, obviously it would help Justin Fields a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And you could use Fields as a package type of guy, kind of like some Taysom Hill things at the beginning.
Like Kirby Smart used.
I was about to say, just don't have him run the zone read all day. Nah,
they brought in Fields. It's going to be zone read. Yeah, cool. Well, that wraps up the Grits Blitz. Let's go ahead and take a break. I'm going to eat this food that I've been watching get cold. And we'll be back in a little bit, guys.
Salon.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back from the break. We are Fish and Grits, the podcast. Thanks for waiting on us. I inhaled a Wendy's spicy jalapeno popper sandwich there that Nicole brought home for me.
How'd you like it?
It's okay. It's just
Was it cold?
Kinda, but it was still mostly warm.
I don't see what the fuss is about it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I've never tried it.
I'm actually
It's a good novelty, but I mean, when I had it the second week, it wasn't as good as the first time.
Yeah. I mean, like, it just tasted like a spicy chicken breast with jalapenos and mayonnaise on it.
Cream cheese.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. Oh my God, you should try that Atlanta United sub from Publix. It's like spicy chicken. They put some like spicy cheese on there. They throw Lay's on there, bacon, and then
That sounds exactly like the Falcon sub minus the spicy chicken.
well, the
and
Falcon
Lay's.
sub is tenders. The Falcon sub is tenders.
Oh
and
yeah.
donut powder. They put some of that sugar powder.
Oh,
on
and they put like a peach preservative or something in it.
Yeah, they use red pepper jelly and cream cheese on this one. It was actually really good.
Red pepper jelly.
Red pepper
That sounds
jelly.
good.
It is.
Um,
I made them go and get the paper from the back because the lady didn't know what I was talking about. Because I was like, "Can I get the Atlanta United sub?" And she's like, "The Falcon sub." I'm like, "No, the United sub."
the good team, ma'am.
She had to go get the paper, the instructions from the back.
That's funny. Which one did you go to?
Brookhaven.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I was by Costco, so
That is one of the hardest Publix to get in and out of.
I couldn't live where you live, Marco. Going to any type of store over there just gives me like so much anxiety. Like it's just so busy over there.
Yeah, I'm in the I mean, it just means that you don't go to the store most times.
Right. But most people over there just order their groceries and stuff.
Right, or wait till it go early or go late.
And then you got to deal with like the Buckhead Betties over there.
There's no Buckhead Betty's off Cheshire Bridge.
Well, I'm talking about if you go further down. Isn't that Publix you're talking about a little bit further down towards the MARTA station?
Oh, no, that's not the pub. I was talking about the one that's by Costco. And then there's one by
Oh, okay.
yeah,
One by Wing Ranch over there too.
Wing Ranch. There's one that's in the same stack as Target and
Home Depot and Best
LA
Buy.
Fitness.
Yeah, no, it's one over by across the street from Wing Ranch too.
Why is Wing Ranch such a big? Where's Wing Ranch?
You
What else Wing Ranch?
for your sister to love that place so much, and you did not even have never heard of it.
You mean the one off Ashford Dunwoody?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't even consider that one. Hell no.
That's a little far from Marco.
Yeah.
That's
but I
very
mean,
far.
it is still technically the Brookhaven area.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
I
Brookhaven?
go. Yeah, it is. It's literally 5 minutes from the new one by the Costco. It's like right.
That's
there.
not Dunwoody?
That's why I got in my accident
Wow.
right there in front of that Publix.
I didn't know that. Do you hear that?
What's that sound? What's that sound? It sounds like the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint. Yes, sir. And we are back today with more basketball talk. Great news to start off. You know, usually by the time we get to this, the Hawks are either still playing or not playing at all. But I'm glad to say that the Hawks have more or less wrapped up a win tonight. Brandon Goodwin entered the game, and that's either a good luck or a bad luck charm, just depending on the night it is. Tonight, it happened to be a good one. So let me close that screen, and let's get to the topics.
Hold on. Can we?
What's up?
Did you just see that stat that popped up on Bleacher Report about what the Hawks did in the third quarter, or do you want to save that for later?
No, go ahead. Tell me. I don't know.
The Hawks went 11 for 11 from 3 in the third quarter.
Sound like Baylor.
You're right.
Right.
Baylor was just Bottom.
Bruh, like I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he was like, man, Baylor out rebounded them. They were stronger. They was shooting better. I said, bruh, the shooting was the biggest difference. Because I'm like, how many times did you see a Gonzaga player close out, jump and contest a shot, and literally the Baylor shooters didn't even barely touch the net. They didn't hit rim.
Mark Few, I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I mean, Baylor came into the team as the number 1 3-point shooting team in the country, and they were playing like some boxing one, where the one guard dude was chasing everybody at the top of the screen. And like you said, literally every three they were chasing to close out. Why are you chasing every time to close out on the best 3-point shooting team?
You don't play zone against a 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, but I think the problem is athletically, they were just freaks.
Yeah,
go ahead. It was like watching. Like, I remember back in high school, I went to a predominantly white high school, and whenever we played like Dunwoody or Tucker in basketball, that's what it was like, because they were just so much more athletic than our basketball team. So it'd be like, it didn't matter what you did. They were just like, try man up, crossover, step back.
Right.
Like, dang, like, we can't guard a man. We can't guard him in zone.
Right. Let's
just hope they start missing eventually.
And they sure didn't. And they were, what's my man's name with the goofy mustache? Fiddle, what's his name?
Thames. Timmy.
Yeah, number 23 was dogging him. he was like out muscling him, keeping him out of the paint, like everything that getting him into foul trouble, all up in his head.
But Hall's a big boy, though, so I mean,
yeah,
shocked me.
Baylor completely dominated them, and I mean, Suggs still to me, Suggs was definitely the best player on the court still, and he tried his best.
He got in foul trouble early though.
Yeah, he tried his best, but damn, he couldn't. Gonzaga had to finish like what, 2 for 20 from 3 or something terrible like that.
They finished 5 of 17.
5 of 17, yeah. And meanwhile, Baylor was what, like
10 of 23.
10 of 23.
Yeah.
Damn. So they didn't really.
They cooled off in the second half.
Yeah, bruh. I'm gonna tell you the exact moment I knew when the game was over. It was in the second half. Gonzaga had started to make a run, and one of the bigs one of Gonzaga's bigs like faked the pass, drove the lane, and Baylor's big came from nowhere and threw his shot, and then they went right back down and hit a 3. I was just like, up, said, bro, they both destroyed your shot on the defensive end, and then went down and switched to 3 on the offensive end. Like, yeah, y'all ain't coming back in this game.
Yeah, I mean it was rough the whole time, and I think Gonzaga, I don't know, like I gotta blame a lot of that on Mark Few in terms of just like, I don't know what the hell kind of defense he was playing, just considering I honestly didn't even know that much about Baylor going into that. I had no idea they were that good at shooting threes, but he should have. And then I guess when Suggs got in foul trouble, their backup point guard was just terrible, and the moment was too big for him, so they got punched in the mouth and they could not take it. And we have Baylor, who 18 years ago, I think they were covering up a death, and now they got a championship. With what was that dude's name? I think it was right before they hired this new coach. It was like the year or two before that. They almost lost their program.
I don't want to say it. I don't, because I don't really remember the name, but it.
Something with a D. I forget what it was. But yeah. Anyway, so what do y'all think about Suggs? Do you still think he's a lottery pick? Or
yes, absolutely.
He'll probably be the second pick.
What about Mitchell?
Mitchell. I think Mitchell worked his way up into the lottery. But what's the other guard's name? The other Baylor guard.
It is
wait.
not Butler.
Butler, yeah.
Yeah.
Butler will be the higher pick because he's more size, more athletic. He's a little more athletic, and more physical. I think he'll be the higher pick than Mitchell. But is Mitchell related to Donovan Mitchell?
No, he isn't. But it's interesting. So there is some crazy serendipity though. So the fact that Utah played last night, and obviously you have Donovan Mitchell on that team. They both wear 45, both Mitchells. John Stockton obviously is the most famous Utah player ever. Gonzaga obviously is his school, and then it's a Texas team versus a Washington team. Utah lost, Gonzaga lost, so there was like some serendipity and both were heavily favored in their game, so it was some serendipity going on there. But yeah, and I also thought I was impressed with the abilities of 24 on Gonzaga, almost like a more athletic Kyle Korver.
The white guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, but I all tournament I was impressed with him too.
Yeah, he's athletic and
watch. He's like 24. Just like, oh, yep, don't draft him in the lottery.
Never mind.
I mean, there was that one play where it's like he ran to the sideline and did like a behind the back pass and pretty much started a half court fast break. But I was like, that kid got some skills. I was like, this kid got heart.
What is his name? I want to find that. But yeah, I agree. He's definitely pretty good. Is it Kispert? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Kispert.
Yeah, Corey Kispert, yeah.
Yeah, that kid, he's going to be in the NBA. So moving on, let's do a little. So what I did, I had to, apologize. A lot of times I talk bad about Canadians. So I just wanted to take a second to give a list of some of the best Canadian athletes. Obviously, this isn't all going to be basketball. I just want to take just a quick second.
Canada.
Wait, I'm waiting for this time. Okay.
It's
144.
I don't know what they. What is the Canadian?
What is it? What?
National anthem.
That's it. Oh, Canada.
I know, but what our country?
Our home and native land.
Is that what it is?
Oh, Canada.
Our home and native land, true patriot, love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. All right, yeah.
You have to, but first and foremost, you have to name the elite Canadian athlete.
Wayne Gretzky?
No. Aubrey, aka Drake. He is the elite of the elite athletes in
How
Canada.
did I know it was going to be a troll?
He's a peak performer. He ran the worst route I've ever seen and still managed to get open.
Didn't he tear his ACL playing KD in basketball?
Did he?
Like just playing around?
I don't remember that.
That's what happens when all these people hit the gym and put on all that weight up top, and they're like, I can still ball.
Right.
And their knees are like, oh, God.
Bruh.
Right, so, what?
Nah, he talked about putting on weight up top, and it just reminds me of Myles Garrett playing basketball.
All right, so let me. I'm just going through this list. I'm trying to find some.
Marco, you're too far to the left.
I'm too far left. They're few and far in between.
Andrew Wiggins.
Oh, we got Larry
Barrett.
Walker. That's a baseball player. Current players. Wait, okay. There's some baseball players that are Canadian. Let's go straight to the NBA. We got RJ Barrett, obviously. Let's see anybody. Dort's Canadian.
Lou Dort.
Trae Lyles, Jamal Murray, Kelly Olynyk, Canadian.
I'm sorry, but Lou Dort should not make any lists.
Tristan Thompson,
the worst dodgeball player ever.
Right. Okay, let's see anybody else here. Retired. Let's see if anybody on this retired list is worth mentioning.
Gretzky.
Rick Fox.
I didn't know he was Canadian.
Oh, look at Robo coming out of the woodwork with a random Gonzaga stat that before you had said that. He said, random statistic, Gonzaga has only produced 2 500-plus games played NBA players. Can y'all guess them without looking at the chat?
John Stockton and what's my man Sabonis?
Steve Nash.
Gonzaga?
Steve Nash didn't go to Gonzaga.
Wait, no. He went to was it St.
Adam
Mary's,
Morrison.
Santa Clara, or whatever.
You think Adam Morrison played 500 games in the NBA?
What? That's like that'd be 6 seasons.
Yeah, if you started all 7 seasons.
Oh, you said started or just played?
No, they played 500 games. Like,
so John Stockton's definitely one of them.
yeah,
and
you
then
nailed that one. And it's funny because
the
you just
other
mentioned
one-
the other one.
Oh, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Fox.
Rick
You want me
Fox
to tell
didn't
you?
go to Gonzaga. He went to North Carolina. Yeah, go ahead.
Kelly Olynyk.
Kelly Olynyk. Sabonis is gonna have that record soon anyway. So.
Oh yeah. Sabonis will
Yeah,
probably
and
be
then-
the second best
and
player
Rui.
in Gonzaga.
Rui
yeah,
and Sabonis.
Sabonis' roof looks so much higher than Rui's though at this point.
Sabonis started doing pretty bad.
No, we're not
after,
burning any jerseys, Harvey.
Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs about to be the best Gonzaga player of all time outside of John Stockton.
Wow.
That's a high claim. Okay.
Especially the way
Well-
Sabonis is playing right now.
Okay, so let me
Go
finish.
for it, Marco.
James Naismith. Okay, and he's the father of basketball. Steve Nash and Bill Wennington.
So wait, Canadians didn't take claim to the sport of basketball since Naismith is from Canada.
He was actually in America though when they were doing it, I think. So I might be wrong about that, but until someone says so. Are there any Canadian football players? Anyway, okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, Canadians. Y'all are sort of good. Obviously, that list was sort of weak, but like,
Y'all
Here's the
sorta,
best Canadians ever. Let me look them up
Sorta.
real quick.
sort of, kind of good. Wait,
Oh, my
wasn't
God.
Steve Nash Canadian?
yeah, I said him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's the best. He's the best ever. Easily.
Gretzky.
Yeah, so Gretzky, I mean in basketball, Gretzky's best Canadian athlete ever, and then Steve Nash best Canadian basketball player. He doesn't even have a championship. So let's talk about Paul Pierce. So recently, this weekend, my man, I guess I don't know if he was like if you sort of like, I didn't necessarily read about the context of what was going on, but it sort of appeared that he was like at a poker party or something like that, because I saw him sitting in a chair. There was someone in a chair directly next to him, and it almost looked like they were sitting at a table. But directly behind Paul Pierce, there was a booty jiggling, and then and then the girl came up to him, and she's all around his neck, and then you see another booty jiggling to the left of them, and immediately people suspected when they saw this that ESPN, although Disney promotes a lot of other weird stuff, they probably wouldn't appeal. They probably would not be happy about Paul Pierce entertaining strippers, especially in a climate of women objectivity, in his presence, and then going live with it. I think that's the biggest problem. So then after the fact, they released him. They parted ways with him yesterday. It might have been Sunday.
They show a picture of him smoking weed too.
He was smoking weed, yeah.
Oh, he was?
Yeah. There's a
But he's
picture.
in
I only saw a picture.
California, right?
Right, so that I didn't really mention that. So
Legal?
it's not a big deal, but still. The optics was just definitely the working women was the bad optics. And so they did let him go, and he pretty much was laughing, and then he was like, it'll all be good. So I just want to ask y'all, did Paul Pierce deserve to get axed for this?
Micah, you want to take the front on this one?
Yeah, I'll take the front on this one. Yes, he did. not necessarily because of what he did, but because of how terrible he is at his job. And I mean, it like I mentioned it to Ryan earlier today. It was just like they looking for any reason to get rid of him. And I think his contract wasn't up, so they couldn't just be like, yeah, we're not going to renew. They were just like, no, we're done. And then he did this, and they were just like, Yeah. He's like, oh, this is too good. This is too easy. Fire him. Yeah, fired.
I think Michelle Beadle and Jalen Rose reported his live to ESPN. They were like, we're tired of this, man. I can't take it anymore. Michelle Beadle was like, look, and just sent it to like the ESPN PR department.
Be like, I'm offended. Hashtag I'm offended.
Yeah, I agree with Micah. We were talking about this last night. Like, this was their way out of Paul Pierce because, God, he is so bad. Like,
I almost feel like he wanted out though, because
it felt like that. Because I mean, when Micah sent it to me and I saw the clips, I literally responded to Micah. I was like, "That's it? Like, that's what got him canned?"
Right. It seemed, first of all, Paul Pierce seemed a little bit like old. Like, he just seemed like an old man out of his element. And you know what I mean? It all seemed very not fun.
Monica, come through, Monica. If you're in California, come through.
Get this money. You're trying to get this money. Like, that was a bad look too. But I don't know. It's like him posting that. It just almost seemed like he wanted to go. But what I said about it is like, yeah, he should have got fired because I mean, you got to be smarter than that. But obviously, there's nothing wrong with him having strippers, in his presence.
Oh man.
But I think that honestly, if he's smart, he could go start his own podcast, like team up with KG or something, and make more money than he makes at ESPN.
Let's bring Paul Pierce on as our fourth guy.
Bruh.
Salary, good times.
I mean, he made $2 million a year or something.
Bro, I'm sorry, but judging based off of what he did, his analysis work and his entertainment value from ESPN, I wouldn't even want him on our podcast. He might cost us ratings. Like, we're trying to build here. It's like, I don't want to listen to no Paul Pierce.
Hey man, come on, man. Somebody out here loves Paul Pierce.
Bruh, I will never forget 2 years ago, Celtics versus Bucks in the playoffs. Celtics take game 1 decisively. The series is over. This series is over. Meanwhile, the Bucks backdoor sweep the Celtics, and it's just like, bruh, you proclaimed the Celtics about to win this series.
But hey, listen, to be fair, let's be honest. Like, it's all about context. Because if he were on NBA on TNT and he said that same thing, people would just be like, "Oh, he's just joking. He's a clown like Charles." But since he's on ESPN, it makes his terrible analysis, seem more serious. But obviously, you can't take him much more serious than you take Charles Barkley. I mean,
I don't take Charles Barkley seriously.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't be like Paul Pierce said this was over in hyperbolic fashion.
No. Bruh, you defending this man for like trash.
Kendrick Perkins is still employed by ESPN.
He needs to be fired too. They need to find a reason to fire him too.
He's not. He's actually worse than Paul Pierce.
Matter of fact, if I could find any kind of dirt just to post on Kendrick Perkins, I would post. I'd leak it on Twitter, on every social media, just so he could lose his analysis job too. He is horrible.
I'd take Paul Pierce over Richard Jefferson as well, if I'm being honest.
Oh, our Jeff is really bad. He's just so damn corny.
He is.
But I can deal with corny. Just oh my god.
Paul Pierce's thing is that he just always looks a little unprepared. Like he shows up.
Hold on, here's the Paul Pierce look. I'm the greatest.
So LeBron is overrated. He's not top 5.
I'm
it always looks like he smelled a fart.
I'm sorry, but yeah, that dude is stealing money, man. He is just stealing money over
Not anymore.
Man. Well, he was.
I bet he goes somewhere like Bleacher Report or something.
Perk is definitely stealing money. We know.
Really
but boy.
Yeah, a lot of the NBA guys are actually really bad. So
just because they play in the NBA doesn't mean they're actually they have the personality to be on TV.
Or the
right.
Kendrick Perkins, look, no, listen here, no man, the Phoenix Suns.
So moving on. So another thing that happened.
Harvey asked who's worse, Paul Pierce or Skip Bayless?
Paul Pierce.
Pierce. I can deal with Skip. But Skip is a character for ratings. I mean, Paul Pierce is just
a clown.
I like Skip Bayless to a degree because of sometimes when Shannon goes overboard with the LeBron stuff and like some of his, Skip is there with the facts, but at the same time, Skip is a little hater. Like he's a little cowboy lover, LeBron hater.
But they both, I think they
MJ worshiper.
I think a lot of that is for ratings.
Of course, but you got to take it for what it is. You know what I mean?
But Paul Pierce is just bad.
He doesn't. I feel like he doesn't get talking points beforehand. He just
legitimately he uses every platform to find some way to like plug himself and how great he was as a player and how underrated he was as a player. And it's like, bruh, just you're done. Like the same. This just like Draymond told you, you ain't Kobe.
Skip Bayless is a consummate professional, but Paul Pierce, obviously, by what he did this weekend, he is anything but that. Yeah. So moving on. Another thing that happened this weekend, LeBron, our favorite King James. Wait, is that sacrilegious to say? He came out. They dropped the the preview for Space Jam 2. And we may or may not still respond to that. I don't know if we can
do it right after this if you want.
Okay, we could. So essentially what we see is that LeBron is getting his son doesn't want to play basketball and LeBron wants him to. And he ends up sucked up inside of the computer game by Don Cheadle. And
Don Cheadle.
And so LeBron goes from regular LeBron to a cartoon back to regular LeBron, and he recruits every single TV character that's ever been on television to help him form a team to beat, I guess, zombie computer versions of players like
the Monstars.
All-Stars. Like I'm just assuming here, this is what AD, Kuz, CP3, Klay Thompson, and Draymond are going to be doing in the movie, right?
Diana Taurasi. Dame.
So he's AD. Going against them, right?
Yeah, they're the Monstars.
Okay, so yeah.
The Goon Squad.
I'm sorry.
They look pretty demonic. So I don't know let me get your just quick opinions on what you saw in this preview.
I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I thought we're adults now. We gotta realize that this is paying homage to one of our childhood favorites, but it's still made for children. And it's 100%. It's gonna do some things that we don't like. It's not gonna be exactly like the first one. There's obviously been some changes in the way they've made some of the characters already, like Lola Bunny, but
they're less attractive.
Right? They desexualized her. So, I like it. I think it's a really cool thing. I think they did a really good job. I like the fact that it's not the exact same thing. But, it's kind of cool. I don't dislike it at all.
Mike?
I take issue with the fact that anybody felt the need to steal Draymond's powers.
He's the best defender of all time, Micah.
If you just want to be wildly mediocre and just a hustle player, then yeah, maybe. I can see Sean Bradley in the original because he was 7'6", but I'm still this average height NBA player who's not very athletic, can't shoot, can pass the ball, and and is overrated as a defender, I'm just gonna steal this guy's powers because nothing about his game really truly stands out.
Bro, this is
says
one
steak
time.
odd.
This is one time when in a team aspect, I think Draymond would actually be a good person to steal because he's gonna be able to do everything, but then nothing great. So he's gonna be the smartest player on the court. Maybe
really.
He's the smartest player to ever be in the NBA, Micah.
Who
are the other ones you named? Like AD, Soft.
Taurasi.
Diana Taurasi is the smartest player.
Diana Taurasi might actually be the best player on the court.
She's a killer. I don't know how intelligent she is, though.
Bruh. She legitimately almost every woman you hear her say she's the greatest woman player of all time.
We know Kuzma's not smart. I'd be like, who the hell who want Kuzma's powers? That's what I want to ask. At least Draymond's a champion.
But he at least can score.
And CP3, obviously, he's probably the smartest player on the court. CP3 probably is.
CP3 when the game's on the line, no, he's just going.
Well, that gives you a good plot line. So CP3 is going to get the ball when because LeBron's going to win. Obviously,
he's gonna ask the ball. Give it to me. I live for these moments.
Well, my question is will that Monstar have Draymond shot? As ugly as it is.
It has to, right?
He has to do this like little.
So let me say this. In my opinion of what I saw is that I think one thing that I guess is sort of lost in why Space Jam was such a good movie is because it wasn't just about Michael Jordan. It was like the parts where like Charles Barkley went and played with the kids when he didn't have powers. Like the little struggles everybody was going through, like the fat guy trying to get to MJ, all those things I think led to it being a great movie. But with this one, it sort of seems extremely LeBron centric. Like there's not going to be a single frame of this movie that doesn't have LeBron in it.
let's not forget, Bill Murray was also in Space Jam.
Oh yeah,
right,
with his knee braces.
Bill Murray.
Yeah. So I mean, you already have a great comedian / actor in the movie, versus I don't know. Maybe they might throw, maybe Drake makes a cameo in this and he does Jimmy from Degrassi or something like that.
Wow. I think that, maybe LeBron should have teamed up with, Disney and used Mickey Mouse and them and done his own thing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, I'll probably watch it just because, we should probably watch that together.
Oh, yeah. We should 1,000% watch that together.
And then eventually we could do an original Space Jam and, just sort of compare the two.
We should do original first.
Yeah, we should do that. I just know that movie so well. It's almost like I feel like
the driveway scene.
Exactly. So speaking of Draymond Green, the best defensive player in the NBA, I think we're gonna have to stop saying that.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna stop saying that. Just a heads up.
I know, right? His brand. That's his brand. He made some comments about WNBA players fight for higher pay. This is a direct quote from him. It says, "I'm really tired of seeing them complain about the lack of pay because they're doing themselves a disservice by just complaining." His argument is essentially that no one knows these WNBA player stories and simply that players don't bring in revenue, so they shouldn't complain about their pay. So I can't necessarily Bryce wrote this, obviously, so I can't necessarily say that's what he meant, allegedly. But I'll say that is one of the most common arguments that they use against WNBA players. But I'm not going to necessarily attribute that to him since I don't have him actually saying that. But what do y'all think of this comment by Draymond Green?
I'm pulling it up right now so we can get it. I'm really tired of seeing them complain about the lack of pay because it's jumping all around. Because they're doing themselves a disservice by just complaining.
Right.
They're not laying out steps that they can take to change that. It's coming off as a complaint because the people that can change it are just going to continue to say, well, the revenue isn't there. So if you don't bring in the revenue, we can't up your pay. They're going to keep using that. But the reality is, as true as that is it's an excuse because everyone says we support women, we support women's empowerment, we support women in the workplace, we do this for women, we do X for women, blah, blah, blah. And everyone uses it to their advantage. Yet these women are not using these people who are saying these very things to their advantage.
Yeah.
Right. See, that's why y'all should tune in to us, because we give fair, unbiased, full, out of context quotes. So,
yeah.
With everything you just said, same question.
We're the best defenders of women in the NBA.
Let's go. Well, until we get to my point, I don't know if I'm going to be defending that.
Yeah, but I don't think I am either.
To be honest, I actually agree with Draymond right here. If you have a problem,
you said what? Can we make that into a sound bite? Say it again one more time, clearly into the mic. Look into the camera real quick.
I agree with Draymond Trump right here.
Cut it right there. Where's the timestamp, Micah or Marco?
I'll look for it.
Oh, did you see did you hear the name?
2 hours. 2 hours.
Hold on, as soon as you cut your neck, I'm gonna get the timestamp.
When I referred to him as Draymond Trump. Now, I agree with him on this though. I think it's yes, okay, we get it. You're not paid nearly as much as men are, and it's sad, but at the same time, yeah, you're not bringing in what the men do. So instead of continuing to complain about it, find solutions that can be more proactive in finding solutions as to how you can build your brand, and instead of just saying we should make what the men make, because it's not helping you. I just think that, I don't know, maybe it's just coming from a man's perspective. It's just like, you can only complain so much until you start to truly find ways to, better solutions.
Here's an interesting thing. So it's a chart showing the shares of attendance and media coverage, WNBA versus NBA. And oh no, don't tell me it's a slideshow. Okay.
Oh,
it's not.
Clickbait.
Blah, 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 blah. Where'd it go? I lost it. So the shares of attendance, the NBA has 92.3%, whereas the WNBA has, so this is the total attendance. Like if you put the NBA attendance and the WNBA attendance together, the NBA attributes to 93% of the attendance, where the WNBA attributes 7%.
Yikes.
Now, the media coverage for the NBA, for total media coverage, is 77%, and the WNBA is 23. So
that's
just
huge.
that right there, that's disproportionate based on what you're bringing in. You're getting a lot more coverage than what you really should be. I mean, honestly, like, I get it. There's some really good women out there. Like, the top of the WNBA is so good. It's the second and third level that still hasn't caught up yet. And that when you start seeing, like, the second, you get your bench players come in and they can drop 16 to 20 points a game because the game has caught up so much, and like there's more people playing basketball. There's more young women playing basketball at an early age and perfecting it, which you actually are seeing now. You're starting to see that surge of athletic and highly skilled girls playing basketball all throughout. And you're really seeing that across the board, honestly. Like in basketball in general, the jump in athleticism and the jump in the skill in the last 20 years is astounding. Like absolutely astounding. And you can attribute that to the training out there for individualized sports. Like people have really started to perfect training for basketball, training for football, training for baseball, because you understand how to exercise those muscles and develop those skills and things like that so much more. And that's why you see players like Steph Curry now. Because, I mean, Steph Curry is one of the hardest workers in the NBA. Athletically, athletically in the bottom 20% of the NBA, I'd say. Maybe even lower than that. But because he works so hard and he's so good and he does all these things to perfect those things, you get these type of results. But no, the WNBA players should not make more until they start bringing in more money. Until they can stand on their own as an organization and the NBA doesn't have to give them stipends to stay open from the money they're making off of their product, then you have no argument. You just don't. Like, you literally can't. I can't go to my job and say, look, I should be making more because that guy's making this much. And they're going to say, well, that guy made our company $1 billion last year. What'd you do? And I'm going to say, well, I mean, I do the same thing, kind of. Like, yeah,
Hey,
right, Mark?
my department looks up to me.
Right. They like me. I'm really good at my job.
best.
Yeah, like I'm really good at my job, and they're going to say, yeah, but your performance just isn't this. Like, did you bring in $1 billion? I'm going to say,
Y'all are really killing the suspense. Y'all are not all supposed to be women bashing.
Well,
It's not women bashing. It's just the market.
I'm just playing. But I've thought of this. Obviously, this is a contentious topic, and it's been around, especially 2019. I think it got to a headway when the players really started trying to figure out. I think there's a lot of things they were trying to figure out how to market themselves, because I think they tried to go down this, like, market themselves as a social justice league. But my thing is this. So obviously the most obvious thing is that they don't generate income, right? They operate at a deficit every single year. The NBA like splurges money just to keep them open. The average of WNBA salary is $100,000. That's up from 2019 when it was $74,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's still good money to play basketball.
I'm saying that's great money to play a game that nobody watches. And my thing is that so look at this. So what is the population, right? We have 50% men, 50% women.
It's more.
We're always trying. They always bring it to men. Like, okay, men, what can we do to make so men like say stupid things like, oh, well, maybe lower the rim to 9 feet, or they could dress more sexy. At the end of the day, when a woman says, oh, they're not getting paid an equal amount, does that woman watch? Are they watching the WNBA? I don't think so. Women aren't supporting it. So if women aren't supporting it, why would we support it? So at the end of the day, like you said, they're getting 23% of the coverage despite making up for less than 10% of the revenue. They're trying hard, but at the end of the day, they need to do a better job at marketing to a demographic, which might need to start with young girls, and they need to do a better job at catching a female audience is what I'm saying.
Here, I want to bring this stat up from 2013. This is the latest I can see. So in 2013, ESPN said that their WNBA audience was a majority male. And it has been for years. 66%, 2/3 of the viewers were male, and almost half were African Americans.
Wow. And we don't support it. Like, that's what I'm saying. We support it more than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'll say this. So think about it like this. You make $100,000. The average player makes $100,000, and they play 36 games. They play less than half the games of a normal NBA season.
Which makes sense because they're more prone to injury.
But it also allows some of their top players to actually go overseas in the off season and play in the European leagues, which pay a lot more. And so you can potentially play in 2 leagues, and you can make, close to $1 million in a year playing a sport that you love. Now, granted, you're not making what NBA players make, but
you're not doing what NBA players do.
You're still making, top 10 percentile of people money playing a sport that you love to play. And yeah, like I said, I get it. In comparison to NBA players, yes, it's much smaller, but like I said, the revenue isn't brought in. It's like in like high school and college sports. A lot of college and high school women complain that, their locker rooms are smaller, their facilities are smaller. But when you look at the revenue that's brought in by men's basketball and men's football, those two programs typically pay for all of the accommodations for the other sports, even even the men's baseball and stuff like that. That's a lot of it's paid for by football and basketball. So yeah, I get it. You feel like you have the short end of the stick, but somebody else is pretty much kind of dragging you along to make sure you even have a place to play, and that's the issue.
So the average attendance for a WNBA game is around 8,000. 8,300 is
that's
what it's
a
saying.
lot. That's more than I.
That's a half arena, which I mean, that's half of half of State Farm.
State Farm is
like 16, I thought.
No, I thought it was more. I thought it was
Is it
20, 30.
Let me see. State Farm Arena attendance.
Because they're only doing 3,000 allowed in there now.
So it's 21,000 right now.
Yeah.
But that's probably with the additional seating that they've added recently, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just their viewership has gone up recently, and I think that's kind of what we were talking about, or what I was talking about earlier, was that that more young girls are playing basketball, so they're more interested.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I feel like they need to double, triple, quadruple down on reaching women, because at the end of the day, we're supporting it unproportionately, and they need to do a better job at marketing it to the people who play in the league. Like I'm saying.
Well, I mean, but that's ultimately what I initially said. I think you, and that's the one thing I agree with Draymond is, like, instead of complaining so much about it, just put your heads together and find good solutions. Because the more solutions you have to build yourself up, and that's about the only way you're really gonna start to move in the right direction. Is you kind of have to, pick yourself up by your own bootstraps, and build your own brand. You can't wait for the NBA to we're just going to keep throwing you, we're going to keep funding you so you can get to the point where you're comfortable.
I think the biggest thing, it's not the fact that we don't support women's sports here, because if you look at the soccer national teams, the women kill the men as far as viewership goes, but it's because the performance is there. 1 through 11 on the pitch, and really like 1 through 22, the women's national team is far superior to the men's.
But men's is
It's just you don't support. I mean, it's the same reason the Hawks didn't get viewership for years.
Well, now they're the ones I actually agree with. That it's a travesty. They don't get paid more. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, because this men's team is lacking. I mean, bruh.
They didn't even make the Olympics.
No.
Right. They're performing on a world stage in front of a captive audience,
or the World Cup, whatever. They didn't qualify.
Well, yeah. So like we said, I'm totally pro woman athlete, but at the same time, women need to be more pro women athlete as well. So moving on, Boogie Cousins signed a 10-day contract with the Clippers. Cool.
Yeah, moving on.
James Harden, this one was a little bit shocking to me. He's expected to miss the next 10 games with a hamstring tear. And Kevin Durant is probable tomorrow.
He said it like a Canadian.
A Dodge Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Durango. Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Adoration.
I'm telling you, I'm all about Canada today. So this This is obviously a hamstring tear. Any kind of hamstring injury is one that's not going to leave for the rest of the season.
Bro.
Like, especially a tear.
Hamstrings are the worst.
Yeah, it's a lingering thing. James Harden is Super Bowl dominant. He's the MVP of this team. So what do you think's gonna what does this mean for the Nets?
If the Nets are smart, they bench him until the playoffs.
Yeah, just let them rest. But they pretty much been doing the same thing with KD. I don't think KD's been that hurt, but he ain't played in how long? Like a month?
Since before All-Star break.
Yeah, so I think they're just trying to load manage and try just to get to the playoffs, because they know in the East they're good enough that they can still kind of coast and make it as a high seed. But yeah, I think if I was them, I'd limit and get in the last couple of games in the regular season, and just kind of rhythm purposes, and then ride with them in the playoffs.
All right.
I didn't hear it because y'all froze for me for a second. So what was the question? I panicked. I was like,
What
oh
is
no,
this?
the stream just went down.
What does this hamstring injury mean for the Nets? James Harden's hamstring injury mean for the Nets?
Nothing for the regular season, depending on how it, if they do the right thing and bench him until it's completely healed, then it can completely limit their championship. What's the word I want to say? Championship potentials. That's the one.
Yeah.
So they've got to rest them. They can't beat a healthy Lakers team with just Kyrie and KD.
That's if the Lakers make it.
What?
Denver
That's
all
true.
the way.
They won't beat Denver without a healthy Harden. Denver
Without a
looks
healthy
super. Harden.
Oh, you're saying the Nets won't beat it.
Yeah.
Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert MVP.
They'd probably beat them. I don't know.
I don't know. Shaq might talk more trash and fire them up even more. They go Super Saiyan on the court.
I don't know, because at the end of the day, like, I don't care how good defense you play on a string. You got 3 shot makers, 2 of them clutch. But yeah. So I mean, like you said, I think it's definitely something to watch, because we all know how tenuous a hamstring injury can be. And especially in freaking basketball, a torn one at that. It's like, man, they just sew it back together.
Well, it depends, because it depends on the grade of the tear. If they said 10 games, which leads me to believe it's probably not that high grade of a tear, maybe a grade 1, which is like a minor tear, and it might heal itself, but he's just going to need time off to rest. But yeah,
Rest your little head, boy.
now if it was like a grade 3, where probably like where the muscle rolled up and they had to do surgery,
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything where my muscle rolls up. Like, that doesn't sound fun at all.
Dude, I know exactly what because I had one in my bicep, and like I legitimately have a spot where you can see where one part of my bicep where it's supposed to be connected and it's not, and it rolled up into the upper part of my bicep.
All I picture is those cartoons things where they like let the blinds down. It goes.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what happens inside your body.
So, what did I just click on? What is that? What in the world? So,
no porn on the podcast.
Moving forward, another Nets related story. So KD, he's had a lot of time. He's been sitting on his butt to be on social media. Recently, he got in a beef with. We talked about this. Candy Crush, or who the hell is Candy Doll? Cash Doll.
Candy Crush. I was like, what the fuck's he talking about?
He got in a little beef with her about the KD, and then we sort of touched on this last week. he got in a little back and forth with Rappaport and was trying to call him out to fight him and all this kind of stuff. Called him an effing ucker. And then, he was just generally mad about it. And I guess he brought up the fact that Rappaport had tried to get lawyers when he had gotten into a beef with the dude from Barstool Sports. And
Dave Portnoy.
Yeah, that guy. And it's just not a good look for either of them, really. So, what do y'all think about all that?
I'll take point on this one, Micah. Kevin Durant shouldn't have to apologize to anybody because someone aired his DMs to him. He didn't make those statements publicly. He said them to a person directly. It's called a direct message. He didn't go on Twitter and post this. He didn't post it on his page. It's like a phone call. Like, you can't get to the censorship level of, you saying something to someone that, granted what he said, it was a little childish. I'll spit on you and I'll slap you. Like, all right, KD, we get it. You're hard.
Right, you're hard. You're going to make him pay.
You're going to slap Michael Rappaport, a 50-year-old white guy. Like, ooh. But the funniest thing to me was Rappaport on Skip and Shannon yesterday, when Shannon was asking him about it. He's like, why did it get to that? Why did you feel like you had to do this? Why did you feel like you had to put this out to the public? And Rappaport was just fumbling around. He's like, it was disrespectful. I'm not a child. Like, you can talk mess, but like, you don't have to take it to those levels. Like, you threatened me. It's like, okay, bro, you get threatened daily, all day, every day on Instagram. If just go to your comments. But you knew because it was KD and you're not that big of a star that this would help you out. Right. He has exactly. And when he started saying, well, and he's KD and well, I'm Michael Rappaport, you know who I am. I've been in the public limelight for over 30 years now. And it's like, look, Michael, like, stop thinking you're something you're not. Like, we know who you are because you're obnoxious. You're not a talented individual. You're not Bill Burr. Like, you're not, what is his name? What's the other redheaded comedian, Micah?
The one who just
Gary Owen?
His wife.
Gary Owen's not a redhead.
Sort of blonde, right?
Yeah. Anyway, he's like the third tier of redheaded comedian, and it's like, it's not even comedy. Like, you're just loud and annoying. So he definitely tried to use this to get his name back out there.
I mean, he probably thought he was in real good standing with the people after he went in on Trump. So he was like, they're with me. They're with me.
That's why Katie's comment about that was even funnier. He's like, Trump didn't pay you attention and no one cared.
So, all right. So I'll say this. Michael Rappaport, it was weak. Even with the whole thing between him and Barstool, they let him go. Then he filed a lawsuit for slander or defamation of character. That's what he filed a lawsuit for, which was stupid. I mean, wrongful terminate. You could have filed for anything else and possibly won that trial, but defamation of character. But they did. Now, granted, they did use his face in a clown thing on a T-shirt. But
it's because Rappaport posted a picture of him having sex with Portnoy from the back.
Oh yeah. So, but I think, like, bruh, it's childish. But my thing is with KD, it's like, bruh, you're so thin-skinned, man. It bothers me that you're this elite of an athlete, but everything gets to you, and you literally have to go off on rants. And you created burner accounts just so trolls, like just so you could respond to trolls and talk trash to trolls. Like, bruh, hey, you know how many people wish they were in your position? Like, don't let these trolls and folks get to you, bruh. I mean, you legitimately are arguably the best basketball player in the world right now, and you let a dude get under your skin, an irrelevant person get under your skin, and it's like, bruh, just stop. Like, I think, and this, like, I think between him and I think his sensitivity and like, it's kind of killing the NBA for me a little bit. It's like, bruh, just too much drama, man. It's like watching like Real Housewives or something. I don't like that crap.
I think Katie actually just DM'd me. He just called me a bitch because we don't agree with what he did. I think he's about to DM me all too. So yeah, man. Katie, man, when people talk about you, man, just let it go. Like who cares what Michael Rappaport thinks about how you handled something like that? Gee whiz. So Katie.
Gee willikers.
Yeah, just handle it like Trae Young does and just tweet the same thing every day. Another day, another blessing. No matter what people say. So moving on. Speaking about Trae Young, Ryan, I just sent a link in the chat. If you could open that up, that would be excellent. And let me go ahead and wave at the camera so I can mark this time.
What am I doing? I'm bringing this to the forefront.
Yes, sir.
But I'll say this.
It's a commercial.
I'll say this while he's bringing that up. KD overcame all kinds of odds to get to where he is right now. Why? So why does it? Can some little words from someone who actually doesn't even matter and not an obstacle to you, why should that even matter to you?
Like I said, he had too much time, man. Just sitting there on the bench.
Like, bro, he's like emo, bro. It's just ridiculous.
All right, it's up so everybody can see it.
Okay.
You want me to zoom in?
I see blackness on the. Let's see when it pops up. Okay, there it goes. All right. So basically, ESPN today, they came out with a list of the top 25 players under 25. And basically, it caused a lot of the two topics that went viral today or trended today. Twitter's trending, not viral. Were Booker and Trae Young, obviously. So just looking at this list here, we got Luka at the top, followed by Zion. This is where the problems start. LaMelo Ball hasn't played a whole season. How the hell is he top 5?
Right. What?
I'll take Luka 1. I'll even take Zion 2. LaMelo 3? Come on, man.
Better than Tatum?
Hold on. Zion is 2.
Yeah, I'll take that though. I mean, he's dominant, man. He shoots like.
But I don't know.
How'd that work out for him tonight?
Yeah, Ja. Like I was a fan of Ja over Zion anyway. But whatever, man.
So we got Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, Ben Simmons, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as our top 10. First of all, I don't know how Booker isn't number 1 on this list. I mean, I'll give Luka that, but Booker, Luka, come on, like.
Not a sponsor. Like, go away, stupid thing. Sorry.
Donovan Mitchell, obviously he's getting hated on. Jason Tatum, all of them. So then the problems is when we get down here. We got, 11 is Brandon Ingram. We got Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. before Ja and Trae. Like Michael Porter Jr.?
He's very inconsistent. I love MPJ, but he is very inconsistent.
I mean, there's a lot of things on this list that doesn't make sense. Who made
De'Aaron
this?
Fox also should really be before. Like, I'm not necessarily that mad that Trae is at 16, But it's just some of the guys they have in front of him. Like Michael Porter Jr. definitely should not be in front of Trae.
But I wonder if teams did he do potential and like just overall package,
Let's see. It says this
and
list was
team?
compiled by averaging the individual rankings from 3 ESPN NBA analysts: Bobby Marks, Kevin Pelton, Mike Schmitz.
Who?
Hold on, I got it.
You said who?
Yeah, I mean it doesn't help that Hawks get like 4 games televised a year.
Honestly, that's a good point, honestly, because I didn't necessarily consider why the Hawks get no love, but that's probably one of the bigger reasons.
Oh, I know this guy.
Which guy?
Bobby Marks.
Okay.
This dude is I mean, you'll just wait. You'll see, Marco.
Okay, but I'm looking at you clicking it in time. Okay, let's see. Here's Bobby Marks. But yeah, so
Idiots.
where's his face?
You'll see me loading.
Okay, I see. Wow. Oh, that guy. Okay, he comes up every so often on ESPN. Sabonis should definitely not be 18. He's definitely better than some of these guys. Like Shai's really talented, but I mean he can't be ahead of these guys who have made, like, Jaylen Brown's contributed to deep playoff runs. Jamal Murray dropped 50 like 3 times in the playoffs. Like Trae Young is averaging 25 and 9 on a team that's in the 4 seed. And somehow De'Aaron Fox is top 10. Like,
yeah, like that's the one thing. Like, other than LaMelo, De'Aaron Fox top 10 is like, huh?
Like, I know he's good, but come on.
He's fast.
Bruh. I don't know though. I like his game, bro. He's been breaking folks down.
He's been on a tear where he's been averaging like 30 or so for the last maybe 6 games, but that's still like
show me consistency.
Show me consistency. Show me a team. I know they're fighting for that 10 seed right now because Steph was hurt for a couple games, but these dudes haven't been in the playoff picture even a little bit. And then
trust me, I totally agree with that. But I also think between the lack of televised games and then the fact that the Hawks have lost most of their games for the last 2 seasons, it's like that's part of the reason why folks don't see Trae as this. It's part of the reason why the narrative that Luka's so much better than Trae.
We'll get to that. But so John Collins on here at 22. I feel like he's better than Michael Porter at this point. Lonzo Ball is probably where he belongs.
You think Lonzo Ball's better than Colin Sexton?
No. No.
Right.
No, but no.
Right.
Not skill wise. But I think he has certain intangibles that might be more valuable for a team. I mean, Colin Sexton tries really hard. He's above average scorer. He's a pretty good shooter. He plays aggressive defense. I don't know about good defense, but he plays aggressive defense. So I don't know, man. This is just confounding. And at this point, so any more comments on this, sort of like any other names? I feel like we've done a good job talking together on this. But
I want to say, just go through this list, like players that I would take above really Zion and LaMelo at this point would be Devin Booker, maybe even Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Jamal Murray, Ja Morant, Trae Young, Domantas Sabonis, and that was probably it.
Yeah. All those, you're right. All those players. Maybe Zion. I don't know.
Zion's got to prove to me that what he does wins games.
You're right. Because he puts up those numbers, and yet still they got beat by 20 tonight.
Right.
I mean, Zion's a freak athlete, but this is legitimately why I felt Ja was the better pick than Zion. He's a freak athlete, but I mean, how many fours are winning you games?
Yeah. Or like tweener 3, 4, 5s.
Yeah. How many of those guys can you legitimately build the team around and be like, yeah, this guy's going to carry us to the promised land. Like it was like the Spurs with LaMarcus Aldridge the past like 5 seasons. It's
He's
just
not Tim
like,
Duncan.
yeah.
And I want to know how they think Michael Bridges is better than Domantas Sabonis, John Collins.
Definitely not Sabonis. Yeah, how the hell is Mikal Bridges better than Sabonis?
Because he dunks.
Like he's averaging 13 points a game. Like
I can posterize people. That's what I do.
Because he caught some pretty lobs from low.
Yeah, like.
But yeah, John Collins definitely better than him. I mean,
way better than him.
Yeah, but Josh should be top 10. Even if Trae's not, Josh should be. I mean, since he's came in the league, he's led his team to damn near playoff contention in the West, like 2 years in a row. I mean, even though I'm biased towards Trae. So anyway, speaking of Trae, let's get into a little bit of Hawks talk. Oh wait, you can get that off the screen.
I already did.
Okay, I'm looking at the old one.
And by the way, Harvey wants to let us know that we can buy LaMelo Ball jerseys from the Hornets for $95.99.
Is that a burn?
I'm sure it's just a burn.
He asked me earlier, like, you want to burn jerseys with me? No, I do not. I do not
want to go burn some stuff.
Unless you're sponsoring this, and even so, I'd wear a mask because I don't want to be known as a LeBron hater. Like, why is he burning LeBron's jersey? This is because he swept
Atlanta podcast burns LeBron jersey.
He swept us in 2015.
Right in front of my face.
Right. I always remember when all we had to do to not play LeBron in the second round was beat an Orlando Magic team that was starting like 5 G League players. We had all our starters, and we still lost.
The most Atlanta thing ever.
Like, damn it, Dennis Schroeder. All right, so
by the way, did you hear about what Dennis Schroeder did? He turned down I want to say it's a $90 million contract extension from the Lakers. He's like, "No, I'm good."
He must not like the fit there.
Betting on himself, I guess.
I don't care what the fit is. $90 million for Dennis Schroeder?
Yeah.
He's not getting that anywhere else.
Maybe it's not about the money. Maybe he's just like, I don't fit with LeBron.
If despite what happens, title or not, I think that we're probably going to see Dennis on like the Bulls next year or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird that I was going to say the Bulls is probably where he's going to go.
Yeah, because they need a point guard who can score and play a little defense, and he can do all those things. Unless they draft one, or that point guard from last night, even though he's a senior, like he can make an NBA roster and really start contributing as a defender.
Which one?
On the wing? 45, Mitchell.
Oh, Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah, like he was a really good defender out there. So speaking of Hawks talk, with this top 25 list in mind, like I said, Trae was trending today, and often when Trae trends, I'd say that 70% of it is usually hate.
Yeah, honestly.
And then on top of that, we had Ryan Windhorst, who has a podcast, and on the podcast, speaking about this list, what he had to say about Trae was this. He said, he's a spectacular player who is an excellent, emphasize, he said excellent twice, shooter at times, but he has games where he's off and doesn't contribute. Then he's a liability on defense, which gets the Hawks eaten alive all the time. So while there's truth in what he says, I think a lot of this is like under the pretense of what Micah said earlier. I don't think he watches Hawks games. Right. Because to say that Trae Young doesn't contribute when he doesn't score, when this man usually, if he scores, like he'll have like a 12 and 14 game.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, or like add a couple steals in there, or if he's not scoring, he's usually getting assists. So I don't agree with what he's saying. What do y'all think about this comment from Windhorst?
All right. I mean, but that's, to be honest with you, that's all of Atlanta sports in general when it comes to the national media. As big of a market as Atlanta has become, we get very little spin when it comes to the press. Like, I mean, think about it. whether it's the Hawks, the Falcons, the Braves. The Braves will get a little bit more, but like when you look at like those highlights, when they show like the highlight reels and stuff, it's like very short. We're the team that they just kind of breeze through. They show one or two plays and just be like, and then they'll show the stat line and whatnot. So yeah, like Trae, I think what they do is because our games aren't nationally televised, they don't watch them. They just look at the score. They look at the box score, and yeah, there have been a lot of games this year where Trae has scored, 12, 15 points, nothing real special, have 9 or 10 assists, and they just assume, oh well, they lost. Trae only scored 15 points. He must not have had that good of a game. Who did we play 2 nights ago? It was
was a loss or a win?
Golden State.
Okay.
We played Golden State. He went 13-5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it doesn't look like in the box score, that doesn't look that impressive. 13-5 for Trae.
I'll give him that one game though, because that game Trae did play exceptionally bad.
Yeah, but you look at that. Oh yeah, this. But then the next game, he might not score. He might not score 35, but he might put up 17 with 12 assists, and it's like, oh, well, he didn't really contribute because he didn't score 30 plus. He didn't lead the team in scoring, but he had like 12 assists, so he contributed in a lot more ways than just putting up points. And I think that's where I think they get too caught up in that box score, as opposed to, because when you don't watch the game, that's all you can really do is just look at the box score and make assessment off of that
and highlights or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's down the middle with Trae, honestly. I think there are times where he is way too passive and he is not, like, his shot selection could be better at times. There is a reason that John Collins said what he said. Like, Trae definitely has some developing to do. Trae's talent is going to always be there, and he's always going to be a threat for 30 to 40 a game. He's growing in areas that, he needs to. He's learning how to play NBA basketball. But to say someone who can pull up from 35 to 40 consistently and get you 10 to 15 assists consistently doesn't affect the game just because he's not scoring is ridiculous. Yeah. If you have someone on the court that can stretch your defense up top every play, whether he's shooting well or not, because he can hit 4 or 5 in a row, that's just dumb. It's just like, it's bad. It's bad take. It's a lazy take, and it's a very Windhorse type take. Like, he made it because he followed LeBron, and let's just be honest. Like, he is a LeBron coattail success story. Like, he came in, followed him, covered him for ESPN, and they were like, "Oh, look, here's this guy that knows everything about it," because he's literally been following him this entire time. He's never had stats or takes that made me go, huh, yeah, good point. Yeah, I never thought about it like that. Or, wow, that's impressive. That's a deep dig. It's just not what Windhorse does. ESPN is full of those people. What's his face? Oh, Wilbon. So apparently if your name starts with a W-I, you're pretty trash. And you know what? I want Michael Wilbon.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
Atlanta hater.
Hates Atlanta. One of the worst hot take guys. Has no idea about Atlanta sports and will say something about their players all the time. Like that team when we won 17 in a row in February, he said something. I wish I could pull it up. I'll find it later and maybe put it to the Instagram page. But just like completely not true about our players. Couldn't even was talking about a guy who wasn't even on our team. It's like, huh? What are you talking about, Wilbon? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Atlanta doesn't get that type of coverage. People talk about Atlanta when they don't watch our games.
Right. Yeah, and I think one thing that sort of has affected the perception of Trae too is the fact that he came out that second year just like gangbusters, averaging historical numbers like 30 and 10. People like and obviously he was doing that on a team where he took all the shots. So people look at him now and say, "Oh, well, he's not doing that, so he must not be as good, or he's just getting those numbers because he's going to the foul line or blah blah blah." But like you said, the fact alone that literally every game he's drawing full court defense, they're trapping him, they're doubling, tripling him. To say that he doesn't contribute just because his stats don't show is a ridiculous take. It's all the way ridiculous.
Like I definitely want to see Trae get better at finishing at the basket. He's a very good finisher. He's underrated as a finisher, but he's not. I want to see him finish like Steph. Steph is just an absolute elite finisher at the rim for his size.
Bruh.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that stuff with that Trae and Dame do, where it's like they're throwing up layups that have no chance just to draw fouls. Right. Like you don't really see Steph do that. Steph is such an intentional, efficient scorer. But that obviously Steph is one of a kind. But yeah, we definitely need to see Trae get stronger.
Right.
Get a lot stronger and work on finishing through contact.
He needs to work on his leadership too.
Yeah, exactly. Because like he's cool with the shivering and like all the cool things that he does when he's hot. But yeah, I mean, but at the same time, Steph isn't really a vocal leader either. So I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's like there's a give and take, because sometimes you need another. Because like I like the way John Collins is more vocal. I like that. I like sometimes there's balance. Maybe Trae isn't the guy. You don't want him to do things that are unnatural, but at the same time, playing well is enough leadership for me.
Did you not see that clip of Steph the other day, by the way?
Yeah, where he was yelling at the team.
Yeah. Sorry,
but that's like the first time I've seen that like ever.
But speaking of Steph finishing at the rim, it was that other day when we played him. He had one where he went up and under on the other side of the rim, and Clint Capella's chasing him, and he was just like flipped it just enough. He went just enough on the other side of the rim where Clint Capella couldn't get to it and block the shot. And I'm just like, yeah, that's where we need Trae to start doing stuff like that, or to learn that.
Yeah, he just got to get in the weight room, because that's all strength. People underrate how strong Steph is, but that dude works really. Like Ryan said earlier, he's one of the hardest working dudes in the game, if not the hardest working dude in the game. I know LeBron.
Yeah, I would say LeBron still might take that cake for me
with the steroids and all that. But so DeAndre, just with some not
hey.
with some not so good news. DeAndre Hunter had a non-surgical procedure on his ailing right knee that a week ago. He played a couple games, then it swelled up, and then it did not unswell. But I think Travis Schlenk did say that this will not keep him out for the rest of the season, so he'll be back eventually. But it's just sad to see one of our most promising players still battling injury.
Yeah, but two of them.
I mean, you can call Cam Reddish promising, but we forgot about him by now. No, just
I mean, I like him. The two of the guys that I was most excited to see this season, because I wanted to see how much they progressed. Because they talked about how Cam grew like 2 inches in the offseason, and they've been hurt majority of the season. It's good guy. Like they've been out as much as Chris Dunn almost.
Yeah, I mean, at least we've seen them. I don't even know what Chris Dunn looks like, honestly. to be completely honest with you. But just on some positive news. So last week, the question we posed was, will Lou Will help the team? And we all pretty much said yes, but it was a resounding yes. Lou Will is the exciting scoring that piece that we needed. When you look at the fact that we got him for Rondo, you're like, oh my God.
Right.
A dude who was averaging 4 points and 2 turnovers a game, and playing no defense. We got a dude who can play de facto point guard, can drop 20 on any given night, 14 guaranteed. and is a leader. Like in that game where Trae was playing like trash and allegedly got hurt, you could see when Trae went to the bench and Lou came in, Lou looked back as if to ask Trae, like, it's all right if I like do this, right? Like I'm about to come in. We're not gonna choke Trae. Is it cool? Is it cool? And he came in, led us to a win. Tonight he was huge, big threes down the stretch. How exciting is it to have a player like Lou Will on our team who came in and made the immediate impact that he's making right now?
I still hold a grudge against Lou Williams just because of playing him in high school and how he would literally just sit on the bench until the last 30 seconds of warm-ups, and it would be like he'd just be sitting there chilling, like watching all his teammates warm up. Then there was like a minute left, and he would stand up, and all of his teammates would just turn into like robots and just like rebounding machines. And then he dropped 40 on us, but that was at the South Gwinnett Thanksgiving Classic.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I love Lou. I mean, I do. I really do. I love having that type of player on the bench who is just an elite scorer. Lou Williams could start in the NBA. He easily could start in the NBA. He's that good. But he knows his most effective role is that sixth man, and he is the best one. Like, it was Jamal Crawford and Lou Williams to me. Like, those two right there. Like, Manu in his older age was good, but he was never like he wasn't like
Didn't
a
he
sixth
microwave Johnson?
But I mean, I don't think he touches either of them in scoring efficiency. But
maybe let me see.
they're those sparks off the bench. Like for the problem that Atlanta had for when the second unit would come in and like scoring would just disappear sometimes because Rondo was out there like, you go over there, and this guy's like, I don't do that. What do you mean go over there?
When he's telling Bruno Fernando and Okongwu to do backdoor cuts, it's like, what is that?
Hey, look, I'll just put it this way: you win big when Bruno Fernando gets in the game.
Right?
Oh no.
You see number 0, or you see what is Bruno wear? 24.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm honestly starting to like there needs to be a petition about this 24 because I feel like when people wear 23, they're usually really nice. But I've been starting to see a lot of these 24s like they playing like like this is just a number anybody can wear.
What was the Bays Gaze? What was his number here?
He was 26 maybe.
Bazemore was 24.
Was he?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, he was 24 here.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. Sorry.
The cursed number.
Case in point.
No,
we need to start taking 24 more seriously.
I'm not. I said it last week though. I said I don't understand. We kind of touched on it. I don't think NBA analysts watch the Hawks at all, because I don't know how many NBA analysts who get paid significantly to do their jobs said that the Clippers won that trade when they got Rajon Rondo and we got Lou Williams. They were like, oh yeah, Rajon Rondo was this. And I'm like, have y'all watched what Rondo's been doing in Atlanta? I mean, like,
it's Trae's fault.
Then he gets on the Clippers and he's legitimately been doing close to nothing, at like 2 points a game, and it's just like. And meanwhile, Lou been balling out. You know, he's got his Lou Will lemon pepper wings at his disposal at all times. Man, I'm telling you, man, this is like analysts. Maybe we should get paid what some of these analysts get paid to do the job, because at least we watch the teams.
Did you look that up though? Because you were right on the nail with what he's averaging.
What, 2?
Yeah, he's averaging in the one game he started. He didn't start. He played. He got 2 points, 4 turnovers, 3 assists.
No, you know how I was on Snapchat and the ESPN thing came up on Snapchat, and they were like, they showed a play where he cut to the basket and made a layup, and it was just like, and that's all the points he scored this game. All right. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, bruh, I'm like, have y'all been watching?
Yeah, I was, man. Yeah, I wasn't as enthusiastic about the trade, but now that I see it, I'm like, damn,
Oh,
that's just crazy.
I was enthusiastic about it because, like I said, what did Rondo contribute?
Nothing.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I know what Lou Will can do as far as scoring, and as a backup point guard, but what did Rondo contribute? I thought he was going to be some kind of leader in the locker room. It was just like, bruh, what? Why are you here? Like,
That's what I'm thinking. You can't even really lead if you're not producing.
I
You
mean,
know,
you can lead without necessarily producing, because I think like when
exactly.
Jerry Stackhouse came to Atlanta, he taught some of the younger guys some things.
How to fight, how to knock niggas.
I think Vince Carter, when he was here, some of the
Right. He
guys
was
learned from
respected.
him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Rondo, it's just like, bruh, you actually getting time. And like, bruh, I think I'd rather play a hurt Chris Dunn than play you right now,
Right.
because it's
Right.
like, bruh, this is awful.
Yeah.
So um yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
Are we still? Are we still? What do people say? Harvey said, "Made Magic City rich, doing a lot for any economy."
Hey, yeah, yeah. Everybody cop some Lou Will lemon pepper wings when you get shot. Go on down to the neighborhood friendly Magic City and get some lemon Lou Will lemon pepper wings.
And Bryce talking about playoff Rondo. Yeah, the Clippers are waiting for playoff Rondo. They're waiting.
Shh. You might, judging the way he's played all year, that playoff Rondo might not show up.
Let's see if he's pulling a Blake Griffin.
All right, so that pretty much is it for the layup, aka the finger roll, aka jelly time, aka points in the paint.
Brr, brr, brr.
And now it's time for the suicide squeeze. Yes, it is the baseball segment of the show.
The what?
So the
We play baseball in Atlanta.
Yes. Well, not so far this season. As the Monday Night Baseball, they throwing shade at the Braves. As they mentioned one of the White Sox players who was 8 for 8 in the first 2 games, and was like, which is more hits than the Atlanta Braves. I was like, yeah. So first things first, the big news is we mentioned last week that the ML and the All-Star MLB would decide to move the All-Star game from Atlanta. They have finally decided they're going to move it to Denver. For the Rockies are going to host the All-Star game this year. A lot of Atlanta is mad. State of Georgia, conservatives are mad because of they feel like it's the liberal agenda being pushed, and a lot of Atlanta folks, i.e. Keisha, are mad because the opportunity of money coming into the city and the state has now left the building.
Did you hear how much we were predicted to make on just that weekend? $40 million.
Suck it, Brian Kemp. You little.
Yeah.
Why is it? Why, Brian?
Well, not for long. It'll be nice when Stacy's up there.
Right.
Maybe
That bill was so unnecessary.
Yo, hold on. All right, I'm calling it right now. Brian Kemp gets voted out. Stacey Abrams becomes the governor. The MLB rewards us with the All-Star game.
Next year?
Oh, yeah, 2022.
Yeah. So
that's assuming that the wait, no, that's the baseball.
That's assuming people are allowed to vote because
right. I was
being
thinking
thrown
the cheerleading,
in, being shipped off to the gulag.
Oh man, that's the funny thing. Ryan, did you get your Georgia license in 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I was telling somebody asked me who wouldn't, and I was like, when Ryan moved back from the military, he wouldn't have been able to vote until he got his Georgia license. So yeah,
A Georgia resident, served my country, paid taxes in Georgia the whole time I was serving, but wouldn't have been able to vote.
Yeah, because you had a New York State license. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the points at hand. So Atlanta, the Braves are on the cusp of an image issue. After this is neither our decision nor our recommendation. We are saddened that our fans will not be able to see this event in our city. Said the Braves simply failed to offer genuine support for minorities and/or people whose rights are being infringed upon. It's not necessarily just the fact that the minorities and people's rights are being infringed upon. It's the idea that no one is affected by it. No one of importance is affected by these rule changes. And, they, like I was breaking down one of our listeners who asked me about it. And I told him, I said, first of all, passports, over 60% of Americans don't have passports. So, to make it now, granted, it is, I can see it's one of them. Said then you have to have a Georgia state driver's license, which can wipe out a lot of it. Georgia is a transit state. It's a lot of people are moving to Atlanta from other states. So if you don't make getting a license in Georgia a priority, then you won't be able to vote in the state of Georgia. Also, or a state government ID. So, if I work for the state of Georgia, then I can get an ID and I can use that. But, so you limit it to that, not to mention, the other things that they like, restricting the boxes where you can drop vote, the ballot boxes you can drop off, mail-in votes and so on and so forth. Like I told them, like, my 90-year-old aunt, the only reason she was eligible to vote in the presidential election is because my parents go by there and they check on her every weekend. So they would so when she needs something mailed, whether it's bills or whatever, they pick it up for her and then they give it to me and ask me to take it to be mailed. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to vote.
Here's the big thing, too, because I saved this picture a while back, and I saved it for this reason. So the biggest changes on this is voters will now have less time to request absentee ballots. There are new strict ID requirements for absentee ballots. It's now illegal for election officials to mail out absentee ballot applications to all voters, why? Mm-hmm. Drop boxes have been not completely, but dramatically reduced. Mobile voting sitters, where like they drove out to people in places where low voting and things like that happened, are pretty much gone now, which was a huge help to getting voting numbers up. Again, high voting numbers, low percentages of fraud. Mentioned and backed by Kemp when Trump said, hey, all that fraud going on in Georgia. And he's like, no, that's good. We're good down here.
They stripped Raffensperger of his duty.
Yeah. Early voting is expanded in a lot of small counties, but not more in more populous ones. Offering food or water in line is illegal. If you go to the wrong polling place, it will be even harder to vote now. If election problems arise, which is a common occurrence, it is now more difficult to extend voting hours, which is a huge thing because the places that happened were highly low white areas. I'll just put it that way.
They need to make it a holiday.
They really do. So with a mix of changes in vote counting, high turnout elections will probably mean longer wait hours. Election officials can no longer accept third-party funding. They say it's a measure that nods to right-wing conspiracy theories. With an eye toward voter fraud, the state attorney general will manage an election hotline. The Republican-controlled legislature now has more control over state election. The Secretary of State is removed as a voting member of the state election board. The GOP-led legislature is empowered to suspend county election officials. and runoff elections will happen faster and could be harder to manage now. So what about that is better?
All right, one more thing I heard was that there's now unlimited amounts of contests for, like, say, for instance, they want to contest a certain vote. Now they have unlimited amounts, whereas before there was like there's only a certain amount of times that you could contest something. So now they could keep on. So like if they say, oh, well, this signature is not here. Well, you got to go do it again. Now, now you don't have the license thing. Now you got to do it again. We still don't like that license. Now you got to do it again. It's like an unlimited amount. It's like, damn. That verbiage alone is just so violating.
well, like here's the thing, and with all of the stipulations they've added, I told him, I said, if I'm an 80-year-old person who doesn't drive, and you've moved my mail-in, my absentee ballot box farther away from my house, how am I supposed to get my vote in? It's just like you've inconvenienced elderly, you've inconvenienced even people who might be 19, 20 and don't have a driver's license. Like, it's just hard. You've made it harder for a lot of less fortunate, poor and less fortunate, or elderly people to be able to exercise their rights to vote. And I said, so the Democrats legitimately, their goal is to try to make as many people vote as possible, because they feel like, the more people vote, the more opportunities we have to win, because more people necessarily agree with us as opposed to the conservatives. Conservatives is, oh, well, they use this guise of voter fraud. And, despite the fact that you can legitimately count on like one hand the amount of cases, the total number of cases of voter fraud in the last election. So I used it. I said, imagine it's your company, someone took a dump in the back of the toilet. And so say, an upper decker basically, and said, because it made such a mess and it was so hard to clean up, your company just basically restricted everyone's bathroom access because this one person decided to be an asshole and mess it up for everybody. So now
ruin the toilet.
So you hurt a lot more people because of the actions of a very few, and like many people get hurt for the actions of a select few, and it's stupid.
Sounds like being in the military again.
What I'll say is, thankfully, we have someone like Stacey who will go above and beyond to make sure that everybody does what they need to do to be able to vote this next time around. So,
but I mean, like I said, and honestly, I'm not even gonna get into HR1, but the Congress passed the HR1 bill, which they called an attack on, which a lot of Republicans and Republican pundits have called an attack on the Republican Party. And this was almost a response to the HR1 bill, which limits a lot of which actually targeted a lot of the ways the Republicans fund and the way they campaign. It's basically, it stops them from like rezoning and stuff like that. So
good. Gerrymandering needs to get thrown out completely.
Yeah, but
let's talk baseball.
Yeah, this was another one. All right, so let's go back to baseball. Braves cover All-Star game patches on all their jerseys because they removed it. I don't disagree with that. So
they took the sign down off the stadium today too.
Yeah.
God damn.
So good old Kemp took a shot at Major League Baseball because this doesn't affect anybody. This doesn't affect anybody from voting, knowing he knows good and damn well who it affects. And they're criticizing Rob Manfred for going with the liberal agenda.
And Kevin Durant and Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
Durant.
You know,
ran.
it's ridiculous. But last but not least, and in bad news, Braves dropped yet another game as the bullpen blows a lead. We wound up losing 6-5 in the ninth.
So we're 0-4.
Which we're 0-4. Now on the bright side, we drop bombs, but the same issues that hitting wise that we've had over the past few years continue to plague us, where
feast or famine.
Yeah, it's pretty much we can hit bombs, but we can't situationally hit to save our lives. Come on, Chip.
Well, go ahead.
Like, come on, Chipper, save us, Chipper.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit. One more baseball story is for the first time since COVID, the Texas Rangers actually had a full stadium yesterday.
Oh my God.
Shocker.
Texas of all states.
Hey man, it's outdoors and it's the sun shining down on great land of Texas.
That's God's country.
Yeah.
We forgot to do this last time. Let's do a Braves record prediction real quick and just not
92.
long-winded. So, Marco, you got 92 wins?
91
wins. Micah?
I'll say 96.
That's exactly what I was going to go with. So, I'll split the difference and I'll go 94.
Should we read these messages that Lionel sent?
What?
For just a 1 minute
soccer
United.
Oh yeah, go for
it. Y'all, good damn.
Good damn.
Good damn. This is a United match. Question. That was you. Guys, Guzan got a red card in the first half. 18-year-old who just signed a contract from the Twos in goal.
The Twos is our y'all know who it is. Y'all listen.
Atlanta United too, yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph is back on the field. Barco got a penalty kick. Fucking bananas. We just beat a Liga MX team who is unbeaten in 19 matches. So that is positive. We got to bring Lionel on the show eventually to talk some soccer.
The thing about that team though is they play in a lower league in Liga MX. So people expected us to win this game. Actually, this wasn't a big shock. They knew it would be competitive, but we were actually favored in this game.
Okay, that's good.
So. But the fact that we did it shorthanded like that is even more impressive.
Let's see, a little MLS talk for that ass. All right, lightning round.
All right, I got this one today, Micah. Since you've been carrying the load, and it's actually based upon what I was eating there. What is your favorite fast food fry?
Locked in. I'm ready.
All right. Micah, you got yours?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to cheat on this one. And I'm going to go with just Chick-fil-A fries, man. Those are by far my favorite. As long as they're warm. They are awful when they are cold. Same with McDonald's fries. A close runner-up for me would be Five Guys, though.
I heard something interesting about Chick-fil-A today. So they
don't like gay people? Oh, wait.
Well, that's not interesting or new. So they use a third of all of the country's output of lemons, and they use a quarter of all the country's output of potatoes.
Damn.
So I can believe it though. I can believe it.
Yeah. My favorite fry is the Checkers fry. It's quite delicious. And then I'd have to go Chick-fil-A after that.
I used to really mess with Chick-fil-A fries, but not Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry, Checkers fries. They're just a little too seasoned for me sometimes, though.
I just don't go to Checkers that much. But, I mean, if you have an air fryer and you go to the frozen section and get the little bag of Checkers fries, man, put them in 400 for like 8 minutes and things.
Shoot fire.
I'm gonna throw one out there that y'all probably never think about.
How do you know what I think about?
Arby's curly fries.
I was
Okay, you're
thinking
right.
about it, but
I don't think about Arby's curly fries.
Yeah, Arby's curly fries are probably my number one. Checkers is a strong number two, and then McDonald's fries when actually seasoned and not when they just you know throw them just they're out the fryer, but we didn't throw any salt on them. Like really, how you gonna give me the saltless fries, bruh?
I have a question. Is salt when a person says seasoned, is salt alone considered seasoned?
Yeah,
Is that
it's still a seasoning.
Yeah, salt is definitely a seasoning.
So how come seasoned salt isn't just called salt?
But because it's not just salt. Because if you look at
That was a
seasoned,
dumb question.
if you look at seasoned salt, it's like reddish in color. It's not just it's not white like salt. Yeah, it's mixed with some other stuff.
Do y'all know that McDonald's has a special potato that they use for their fries?
Is it the Yukon or is it a golden?
It's was made by someone called like Simplot or something like that. But what they did is they genetically modified it to resist bruising. So that's why you get McDonald's fries and they don't have those little brown spots in them at all.
Right, and they don't ever perish.
Yeah, right. Well, neither does their bread.
Hey,
their bread doesn't mold. Their fries don't ever.
Yeah,
mold.
But that's what makes it great for food fights.
I got an underrated fry, Bojangles.
Oh yeah, the Cajun fries.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever had Bojangles fries.
It's sort of a long, slender type of.
Yeah, they have they got a really good Cajun fries, and their bow rounds are bomb.
A bow round?
Yeah,
bow round.
Bow rounds. Bow rounds are basically their hash browns with the Cajun seasoning on them.
The breakfast item. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Something we haven't done in a while. Anybody got any shout outs or recommendations?
Yeah.
That's why we don't do it anyway.
Like I said, yeah, and I was waiting on it.
Yeah. No. I thought Marco was going to say something at first. Yeah, I'm gonna shout out to Chef Lambo, my homegirl Stacy. I'm about to hit her up soon, so I can get some special keto friendly meals from the chef over there. So yeah, shout out to her. If you in the Atlanta area want some good food, check her out. She is really talented at what she does.
I had one and just lost it. Who was it? Well, I'll take it on back to last week. Shout out to you guys for listening, tuning in, watching. Make sure you turn on those notifications if you haven't already. Hit that like button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. Thanks for stopping by every week and talking to us while we broadcast, and leaving comments in the Instagram and things like that. The more y'all do that, the more we can do. Honestly.
Shout out to Rob Van Dam for making the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah. RVD.
Shout out to Harvey for having more burned jerseys than anybody I know.
Yo, Slick. So I don't know where y'all got the name of that episode for the last one, but I had tentatively named it "Burn That Jersey."
What was it? What did I name it? I forgot.
It was sort of a long name. I forget. It was.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whether he is something long.
Who knows? No, it was Micah's intro.
Spectacular well, not far from spectacular.
Yeah.
No, fantastically well, not far from spectacular.
Yeah, okay. That's where I got it from.
Okay.
But appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna go do some things.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.